American alliance. It's also a testimony to the strength of our personal friendship.
The Prime Minister says he'll discuss victory over Hamas, achieving the release of all of our hostages and dealing with the Iranian terror axis. America's top diplomat towing a hard line with Panama's leader.
On a visit to Panama, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is telling Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino that his country must immediately reduce Chinese influence over the Panama Canal area or face potential retaliation from the Trump administration. Rubio, on his first foreign trip as America's top diplomat, held face-to-face talks with Mulino, who later said that there's no real threat of retaking the canal or the use of force. I'm Donna Warder.
President Molino has agreed to abandon China's Belt and Road Initiative. Searchers have recovered the remains of 55 of the 67 people killed in the mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport. Today, crews will start lifting wreckage of the plane from the Potomac River. Anti-deportation protesters have waved Mexican and other foreign flags at demonstrations in Southern California, Texas, and New York, castigating President Trump for his crackdown on illegal immigration. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 577 points. NASDAQ futures off 358. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
The European Union is condemning what it calls a brutal crackdown on peaceful protests in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, where pro-democracy demonstrations have been spreading across the Black Sea country.
The EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said the actions of Georgia's government, led by the strongly nationalist Georgian Dream Party, fell short of all expectations of an EU candidate country. A journalist in the capital, Tbilisi, reported a new round of what she called arbitrary and violent arrests in the small hours of Monday. 2 protesters were reportedly beaten and taken to hospital with concussion and fractures. Earlier, 2 opposition leaders were detained. There have been nightly demonstrations since November, after Georgian Dream said it had won elections and suspended EU accession talks.
The BBC's Charles Haviland. At least 15 people killed, dozens wounded today. A car bomb exploded on the outskirts of a northern Syrian city. The blast occurred next to a vehicle carrying farm workers. News and analysis, townhall.com. Some experts warn of a downside to concierge healthcare.
Direct primary care is a very popular healthcare option. Patients pay a fee of roughly $50 to $100 a month and get easier direct access to their doctor for routine care as often as they want at no extra cost. However, public health officials say they do not think of direct primary care as a replacement for insurance. That's because the monthly fee covers nothing beyond the visits. Jason Walker reporting.
Jury selection begins today in Minneapolis for the trial of the alleged ringleader of a scheme to exploit the COVID pandemic. Prosecutors say $250 million was stolen from a program meant to feed children. The attorney for Amy Bach, the founder of the group that prosecutors claim was at the heart of the plot, insists that Bach is innocent of any wrongdoing. More on these stories, townhall.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. It's really going to feel like spring for Monday as we get a warmer day on tap. Waking up temperature around 46. Now the normal high for the day is 42. We'll be above that just to start our day off. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 71. That's getting pretty close to the 135-year-old record of 75 degrees from 1890. We've got a dry day, but a front will come through dry and produce some cooler air for Tuesday. A high of around 50 degrees Tuesday. Next chance of rain and a few thunderstorms comes in on Wednesday. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
I'm so tired of my water smelling like rotten eggs, iron bound. It makes my clothes and home smell, and my sink and faucet look dirty. I'm calling Jones Air and Water Treatment for their solution to this pollution.
Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to your pollution. Call now for your free water analysis at 636-899-1040 and live with clean, great-tasting water. That's 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
Don't always agree, but in love listening to your radio station.
This is tyrannical stuff they're doing.
Elections have consequences. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Down.
Monday, February 3rd, 2025. I'm Gernal Scott. The Trump administration is getting its footing just 2 weeks into his second term. How is he doing as he wrestles with assembling administration leadership and immigration, as well as other issues?
Everything that Donald Trump has done and is doing over those last 2 weeks and going forward, none of it came as a surprise. All of this was before voters. They voted for him, and now he's doing what he said he was going to do.
I'm Lisa Brady. This March is 5 years since COVID lockdowns. Nation's report card finds students still struggling.
I would guess that most people think that we're more or less back to normal when it comes to recovering from the pandemic. What these tests are telling us is that even though it may feel like things are back to normal, they really aren't.
And I'm Tommy Lahren. I've got the final word on the Fox News Rundown.
2 weeks ago, Donald Trump once again assumed the presidency of the United States. Looking back at the campaign, he promised a crackdown on illegal immigration, a better economy here at home, and a respected America across the globe. So far, all of what he has promised to do is on the table. Mass deportations, tariffs, changing the way America looks at their health and their safety. President Trump stated his aim during his inaugural address, January 20th.
We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
What will that look like? We're seeing a great deal of it play out right now with Senate confirmations, a crackdown on migration, and a national tragedy. Republicans who are tuned into how administrations take shape say this new Trump presidency is going like many expect it would.
A couple immediate things come to mind. One is just the speed and the intensity. In the administration promised shock and awe when they were coming in between the election and the inauguration, and they've certainly made good on their word on that. And they have recognized that there's a lot to do in a short amount of time, and they're moving from one thing to the next.
Colin Reed is a Republican strategist and a co-founder of South End Hill Strategies.
One, they know there was a lot of promises made in the campaign trail, and there's a short amount of time to make sure you make good on those promises. And then two, they also know that the opposition is going to be fierce. And if you're moving quickly, if you're constantly moving your feet, you can get a lot done because it keeps your opponents off guard. So I think it's intentional, and I think it's effective. And we're 2 weeks in, and look at the number of things that have been done already. But I also think there's a lot to do and a lot of time is the biggest opponent of this administration right now, because by the time the fall rolls around, a lot of the time for legislating will have come and gone, and they need to really take advantage of it now while they can, before we're back into the campaign season once again.
President has been on the road to following through on his promise of deportations, and with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and Border Czar Tom Homan sort of leading the way at the point on these things. How do you see that going so far? It seems like that really hit the ground running.
There's probably no other issue that this president has been more closely identified with. His political ethos from the beginning of his candidacy 10 years ago throughout ever since has been tied to immigration. It's the one that he believes resonates most with voters. It's the one that he believes, correctly by any sort of demonstrable statistic, deteriorated under the 4 years of the Biden administration. And it's the one he believes needs the most commitment to. And a lot of this is not just the policies, because they do matter. In a lot of the executive orders that President Biden signed on day one, we're reflexively undoing the policies from the previous administration, the Trump administration, that were working. And it's not a coincidence that President Biden, 3.5 years later, had to reinstitute some of those policies that the Trump administration had pursued, because the situation had become so bad and had deteriorated so much. But so much of this is just the posture and sending a message that we are going to get control of our borders. We don't just have a welcome sign out for everyone to come across the country illegally, and that this is a national security threat. This is a threat to our communities vis-a-vis fentanyl and everything that comes with it. And this idea that we can just not have totally uncontrolled chaos at the southern border and the northern border, frankly, it's a message that resonated and is one this president has been committed to from the beginning. And I expect it's one he's going to continue. It's a mission he's going to pursue throughout.
As far as the 2024 election was concerned, yeah, immigration was a big topic, but it seemed that Americans thought the economy was the biggest thing. Is there any sense that maybe some people would think that, okay, we're going to get back to the economy a little later, but we need to get a handle on this immigration thing first?
Well, when voters cast their ballots last November, depending on the numbers you're looking at, between 70 and 80% of people thought the country was going in the wrong direction. And it wasn't just one issue that led them to believe that. It was a culmination of factors. We just identified the first two, and we can get into others as well, which were the economy and immigration. And for the most part, those were 1 and 2 throughout, and they remained as such. And look, President Trump knows he's got a lot to do, and he knows that he was elected because he spoke to the frustrations, he spoke to the fears, he spoke to the hopes and dreams of people across the board in these issues, and he's got a lot to do. And as this tariff debate unfolds in the coming days, it's pretty clear that the messaging from the Democrats and his opponents is going to have to do with prices and the potential impact of price hikes on goods. And that's something this president is a very smart, and he's very attuned to voters' minds. He knows that he promised to bring prices down. So look, this is where this fight is going to be had. And for him to be successful in what he's trying to do with tariffs, he needs to be able to counter the messaging about prices going up on everyday goods, because that will be one that his opponents will try their very best to hang around his neck.
I think back to what happened with Colombia not taking the migrants. He threatened Colombia with a tariff, and they immediately folded. Is that a ploy that the president uses, or is it more of a ploy, or will he go ahead and slap these tariffs on these countries?
One of the hallmarks of the Trump presidency throughout has been his desire and ability to keep foreign opponents on their toes and guessing. And that's applied across the board. So look, the fact that he's talking about tariffs should come as no surprise. He campaigned loudly on that issue last year. He talked about it basically at every rally he did, and 77 million people voted for him. So the fact that he's now doing what he said he was going to do shouldn't come as any surprise. Now, the other issue here that gets lost in this debate is President Biden, as president, kept many of these tariffs in place that were instituted by the Trump administration. So it's not as though this is strictly a party line thing. And that's going to factor into how the Democrats message against it, because they know that their guy was on record on many of these issues. And it frankly put Vice President Harris in the box, because she couldn't just come out there and blast things during the campaign that her own administration was doing. President Trump, of all people, does not want prices to go up. he campaigned loudly on that issue as well. So and that's going to be the thing that's going to make or break this. And the early indications are this administration is very organized in this issue. They're churning out lots of fact sheets and documents, and they're making sure that other Republicans know the messaging, and that's going to also help communicate what the plan is, what the end game in here is, and why this is a good thing.
Now, there have been some hits for the Trump administration, and Marco Rubio, John Ratcliffe are two that immediately come to mind. But then you have the Tulsi Gabbards and the Kash Patels and the RFK Juniors. And there are some Republicans out there who are going to challenge this and maybe perhaps land a little bit opposite of the president against the people he wants in place. Can we really say that the Republican Party is united at this point?
Well, every pick who has begun the confirmation process has made it through thus far. At some point, of course, that streak could come to an end. I think Secretary Hegseth offers a good playbook for others who might find themselves with some challenges on the way. Look, senators, even of their own party, they take the advise and consent process very seriously. They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to ask hard questions. And ultimately, it's on these nominees to answer those hard questions and then also to fight back. And to not sit there and take these hits and let them rain down on them. I mean, Secretary Hegseth, it looked like when his nomination was not a sure thing. He came out swinging, and you've got 53 Republican senators. As long as you can just keep the majority of them on your side and keep the support and the confidence of the White House, you should be just fine. And that's what Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. to an extent are grappling with this weekend. If they can keep the White House and if they can keep at least 51 of those senators or 50 of those senators on their side, they'll get through. And so far, it's worked. It's the opposing party always likes to take down an incoming administration's nominee. It's kind of a way to show the opposition is still vibrant or alive. And that's yet to happen. It could, and it might. But right now, it's also very possible that all these nominees get through.
You mentioned Pete Hegseth. He's been put under fire very quickly in his new position, along with Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy, with this very tragic crash. And again, our hearts go out to the families of those who were lost in that crash over Washington, D.C. How do you think they've done so far?
Yeah, no, out of the frying pan into the fire in terms of getting through a tough. Well, I guess Secretary Duffy got through fairly easily, but yeah, there's no time for on the job learning here, and both those guys have their hands full right now getting to the bottom of this. This is an airport where lawmakers fly in and out of regularly, and it was so tragic, and there's so many more questions and answers right now. And those two guys, they've got their work cut out for them, and it's one thing where there's going to be just an intense amount of pressure for the foreseeable future.
I know trying to steer Donald Trump is a hard enough job as it is, but would you have recommended maybe I would stay off of that train?
I don't think that people are going to have any sort of ability to change what he says now. This is who he is. This is how he governs. This is his style, and this is what people signed up for. Everything that Donald Trump has done and is doing over those last 2 weeks and going forward, none of it came as a surprise. All of this was before voters. The voters had a choice. They voted for him, and now he's doing what he said he was going to do. So really, he's his own potential worst opponent. He can run as he's got open field in front of him if he wants to take it, and that'll be up to him as to how far he goes.
How, in your mind, as you look at this administration play out, what's going to make this a successful first 100 days for President Trump?
The executive orders, they're great, and they're undoing a lot of the things that the Biden administration implemented that were having negative impacts especially on American innovators and in the American energy industry. But in these first 100 days, President Trump and the Republican Congress should get some legislation done as well, because when you actually pass things through the legislative process, it's the next administration can't just undo them with a stroke of a pen. I think in those first 100 days, what would send a really powerful message is if the Republican Congress and President Trump were able to reauthorize those 2017 Trump tax cuts that are set to expire at the end of the year, not leave that important work till the end of the year so the business community isn't scrambling and wondering what's going to happen if they're all all going to get a tax hike come next January. Getting that done would be a win that Republicans across the board could take home to their voters and say, look, you elected us last year to do a job. We're doing it. This is already done. This is done and dusted. Now we're on to the next thing. And in politics, like in life, success begets success. So getting those tax cuts done first 100 days, it may not happen, but it will be something that if they can do it early rather than later, it would be a very tangible result to take home to their voters.
And of course, we'll be watching all of this as it plays out over these first weeks of the Trump administration. Colin Reed is a Republican strategist, co-founder of South and Hill Strategies. Colin, thank you so much for being on the Fox News Rundown.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
This is News Talk STL on 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
A black woman talking against DEI. What? Yep. Melanie Collette from CFAC joins us to talk just about that Monday at 9:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
New officers are eligible for a $5,000 hiring incentive. I'm Officer John Van Gordon, recruiter with the Springfield, Missouri Police Department. We understand that finances can hold you back from changing careers and following your dreams. That's why our in-house training academy is paid with benefits from day one. If you're driven, team-oriented, and community-minded, we want to talk to you. Visit gospd.com today and learn more about applying to our academy.
Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
Larry Connors here. I'm heading to southern Italy on a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. 11 magical days in luxury with professionals from Conservative Tours. The cost? $54.88. That includes airfare from St. Louis. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. Let's go to Italy this spring. conservativetours.com.
Seavers JCB, a trusted leader in agriculture and construction. Connect with SeaversJCB.com and browse their inventory or stop by and let them show you the capabilities of the JCB lineup. Telebooms, skid steers, loaders, forklifts, excavators, backhoes, and more. JCB has pushed diesel to its limits with machines that now emit 50% less CO2. JCB's new Icon software system will blow your mind, offering iConfigure, iConnect, and iControl. Learn more at SeaversJCB.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
This whole thing's got me thinking about how privileged I've been.
America's a wonderful country.
If I were a black man, I'd be furious.
We're getting frustrated.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
There are certain issues that we need improvement.
They would rather have this country on its knees than be successful.
News, analysis, opinion.
We have common sense, and the Democrats have none.
101.9 and 94.1.
And I appreciate the discussion.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
The Great American Race returns. The Daytona 500, February 16th, 2:30 Eastern, only on Fox.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Monday, February 3rd, 2025. I'm Ted Lindner, and this is the Fox News Rundown. More victims have been recovered from the crash between a passenger jet and a military helicopter near Reagan National Airport last week. D.C. Fire and EMS Chief John Donnelly speaking to the public on Sunday.
During our salvage surveys in preparation to lift the aircraft, additional remains were located and removed from the river and taken to the medical examiner's office.
And President Trump has announced tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on NBC's Meet the Press saying,
these countries have an opportunity to get on board with the President of the United States and to partner with us to deal with illegal immigration, to take back their individuals that have been in our country illegally.
Canadian economists warning tariffs could produce a recession in their country. And in L.A., Sunday night, the 67th Annual Grammy Awards.
I'm Michelle Polino. The 67th Annual Grammy Awards kicked off with a tribute to Los Angeles with the local band Dawes, who were directly affected by the Eaton fire in Altadena, performing Randy Newman's I Love L.A. But the big winners were Kendrick Lamar, who took home 5 awards, including Record and Song of the Year, and Beyonce, who took home the night's biggest awards, Best Country Album and Album of the Year. This clip courtesy of CBS and the Recording Academy.
I just feel very full and very honored. It's been many, many years.
The Beatles now and then took home Best Rock Performance, while the Grammys donated commercial airtime to Los Angeles businesses with help from Doja Cat and more. Doechii won Best Rap Album for Alligator Bites Don't Heal. Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet Best Pop Album, but it was Chappell Roan's performance of Pink Pony House that brought the house to its feet. She also won Best New Artist and called out the music industry in her acceptance speech, reading from her diary.
Labels, we got you, but do you got us?
Best Pop Duo performance went to Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars for their song Die With a Smile. There was a stunning Quincy Jones tribute featuring the return of Will Smith to the award show arena following his Oscar slap, and feature performances from Lainey Wilson, Cynthia Erivo, and Janelle Monáe performing Michael Jackson's Can't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Fox's Michelle Polino. The Grammys hosted by Trevor Noah. I'm Ted Lindner. This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com. The Allman Report.
Hey, Monday on the Allman Report, all the crazy, nutty stuff from around the weekend. You're going to love it. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman, weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
I can tell you how to get a free quick quiz to see how artificial intelligence can boost your company's potential. You go to priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai. St. Louis Business Magazine listing PRI as one of the leading IT companies. And PRI has its own AI lab to develop what your business needs. PRIglobal.ai. PRIglobal.ai.
At Elite Comfort Experts, they don't believe in gimmicks, just guarantees. And now they're teaming up with Amana Heating and Air Conditioning to bring you a 99-year compressor and heat exchange warranty and a 10-year parts and labor warranty on a high new efficiency HVAC system. This exclusive offer is available on qualifying systems installed before April 15th. Choose integrity and quality. Choose Elite Comfort Experts. Call Elite at 636-887-0971 or visit EliteComfortExperts.com. Mention the promo code NewsTalkSTL.
Chris Cooper with Serenity Wealth Management.
One of the common questions I get asked by most people I meet actually are, are taxes going to be higher, lower, or maybe even stay the same in the future? Now, I think, and quite frankly, most people I talk to would agree that tax risk is high and they're going to be higher in the future. Now, if that's the case, what are we doing different today to plan for that inevitability? It's a hard, complicated conversation, but we need to take control of our financial situation today. How do we do that? Well, first we have to learn. So one of the things I love to do is host educational events where I speak to tax risk and other financial concerns that many people have. I've got 2 events coming up I'd like to especially invite you to. Thursday, January 30th, or Tuesday, February 4th, both events taking place over at Stone Summit in Wisville. Take control of your financial future. Eliminate that government partnership or at least mitigate. Come to one of our events, and I look forward to meeting you there.
Register at SerenityWealthNow.com. That's SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors. The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, unfortunately, there's a serious threat to your home. It's called title fraud. Criminals forge a document, file it, just like that, your title is stolen. They can even take out loans against your property. That's why I'm urging you to use Home Title Lock. They provide 24/7 monitoring, alerts, and restoration of your title if fraud occurs. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code BILL25 for 25% off their protection plans. That's HomeTitleLock.com, code BILL25. On this Monday, the resistance to Donald Trump has shown its hand. 2 weeks ago, as you'll remember, the inauguration took place, and many of us wondered how Mr. Trump was going to be received by the Washington swamp. Well, now we know. Lawsuits. Everything the president wants to do is going to be subject to the federal courts. This is not unanticipated, but it's a strategy. And then the media, the corporate media, which works hand in hand with liberal Democrats, will hype the lawsuits and try to create the perception of chaos. Now, I don't know whether the Trump administration overall understands the strategy here. I believe they do, but it really doesn't matter to Donald Trump. He's going to write those executive orders, and if the courts throw them out, he can say to his voters, look, I tried. I did what I told you I was going to do, and the federal apparatus has delayed or prevented me. We see that with the transgender stuff. We see it with the spending oversight. We see it with a crackdown on illegal migration. And this will not end. So pretty much everything that Donald Trump does as president will be subject to people in the resistance suing him. Back in a moment. Are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. It's really going to feel like spring for Monday as we get a warmer day on tap. Waking up temperature around 46. Now the normal high for the day is 42. We'll be above that just to start our day off. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 71. That's getting pretty close to the 135-year-old record of 75 degrees from 1890. We've got a dry day, but a front will come through dry and produce some cooler air for Tuesday. A high of around 50 degrees Tuesday. Next chance of rain and a few thunderstorms comes in on Wednesday. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
When our veterans came home from serving their country, the American Legion helped them with the GI Bill to get a head start. When they came home from Vietnam, we helped those affected by Agent Orange to get care and compensation. Now, a new generation is dealing with their own challenges. Every day, 22 veterans who put their lives on the line for our country came home and took their own. As it has for over 100 years, the American Legion continues to advocate for our veterans, so when they leave service, there's a place for them to go to continue serving and, when needed, to get help.
Everyone loves a champion, someone whose performance puts them head and shoulders above the rest. But not all champions wear a medal or hoist a trophy. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. We believe abuse can be prevented by taking a hard look at how we coach, how we train, and how we interact after the last whistle. We have provided over 2 million safe sport trainings. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL. For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Did you know that Donald Trump's war against illegal aliens is now inspiring music and inspiring art? As a matter of fact, we have an exclusive song about that, and we're going to do the premiere right around 7:35 today. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Mike Ferguson. We're still trying to put together what happened in that tragic crash, American Airlines versus a Black Hawk helicopter. And on Friday, we got a unique insight into that. Retired Marine Colonel William Dunn, who piloted attack helicopters for decades, joined us on the program and gave us a perspective that you're just not going to find in too many other places. We really learned a lot. Here's what he had to say. A lot of possibilities are being put out there. Air traffic congestion, human error, equipment failure, technology. I mean, we don't know what the answer is right now, but when you go back and put yourself in that pilot seat, you put yourself in the cockpit of that helicopter, what are the things or some of the things that the pilot always has to be worried about in a situation like an urban setting like this, where possible dangers could come from any different angle? Because I think a lot of us just believe, we've got the most advanced technology in the world. These airports are state of the art. This helicopter, state of the art. The pilots are the most well trained in the world. How could this possibly have happened? But there are factors that us civilians just never even know to consider. What are some of the things we need to keep in mind?
Well, hey, sir, thank you very much for having me. And it's a tragic event. I've watched the video and I've heard quite a bit of the audio, but it's the same that everybody is hearing on TV right now. And the thing that jumps out at me is it was a high traffic area, but that should not be a problem. As you mentioned, and I've seen that the one pilot had over 500 hours and the other pilot had somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 hours. And in helicopter time, military, that equates to a couple of years. So these are very experienced pilots. What I believe is going through their mind as they're in this area is they're taking all the cues from the pilot, the co-pilot, the crew chief, and from air traffic control. And so if you listen to some of the audio, air traffic control tells them to keep an eye and avoid one of the heavy jets. Here's what I believe as a pilot I'm seeing. Air traffic control sees one jet. They're telling me I'm seeing a jet. We don't know, and we've never ascertained if they were both talking about the same aircraft. And so when you're in a high trafficable area, each pilot, co-pilot, in my case, I was a Cobra pilot, so I didn't have a crew chief, but crewed aircraft with a crew chief in the back, they're all looking left, right, and they're talking to each other, and it's continuous, it's a continuous discussion. So I believe they're taking those cues, and I think we're going to see they probably never saw each other. The airliner probably never saw the helicopter, and the helicopter probably never saw the jetliner, because when you're in a task-saturated environment, you may make an assumption based on your call with ATC, and you've got the traffic and you're looking at the traffic. Meanwhile, you don't see the other airplane. That's one possibility that you hit the nail on the head, by the way. There's a ton of speculation going on. Let the team do the investigation, and I think we'll have some answers.
Morning, Colonel Dunn, Gabe Pfeiffer here. So one thing I discussed, I have a background in aviation and things like that. So one thing I discussed on air, just kind of for the audience, was the TCAS system that civilian aircraft use to prevent these things from happening. But the one question that I don't have an answer to is whether or not a Black Hawk has a similar TCAS or at least a transponder that would show up on the civilian TCAS system. Are you aware?
Yes. Well, for sure, they have a transponder.
Okay.
Was it operating properly? Investigation will determine that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind. You're not even legally allowed to fly in some of this airspace without a transponder.
Right.
So it's possible transponders break, not very often, but it's possible they're flying, their transponder goes out. That's, a circuit breaker could have popped. You never know. They don't have TCAS. The other thing they don't have, this is a sticking point to me, is they don't have a voice data recorder, or better known as a black box, in military aircraft.
Right.
And so I've been pushing that. I want that to happen. And I think, if any goodness could come out of something like this, I think putting a black box in every DOD helicopter and every DOD aircraft would be beneficial for future mishaps, preventing mishaps. And ideally, all you need to do is disconnect it, or maybe even take it out if you're going into combat. Mm-hmm. Our Marines and sailors, they're smart men and women. They can figure out how to do that. No doubt in my mind.
Absolutely.
We are visiting with retired Marine Corps Colonel William Dunn, known as Burner Dunn. His book, by the way, called Gunfighters Rule, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. My understanding is you've done a lot of military helicopter flying, specifically around the D.C. area as well. Is there anything unique about that particular urban terrain that may be different from places that pilots would have trained or been accustomed to in other areas? I mean, obviously, with the nation's capital, there's going to be a different set of traffic, which you've already addressed, a lot of different military activity. Obviously, you got the Potomac River right there. But is there anything that stands out about Washington, D.C. that could lend itself to extra risk?
Well, I don't want to, this is the thing. The one thing that bothers me is that some folks are pointing to the fact that it's a busy airport, right? Mm-hmm. Every military pilot that's good, and I mean, just, and I'm not being facetious, but that knows their procedures should be able to operate there. Mm-hmm. We can operate in combat, day, night, all weather. We should be able to operate at a busy airport. And I've landed a Cobra at Dallas Fort Worth. And not remarkable, right? Many of my peers have. I think one time we were flying out to California and we brought in, 6, 8 Cobras and Hueys, and we all landed at Dallas Fort Worth. It's not a big deal. You just have to follow the procedures. Now in D.C., it's very specific. They have prohibited areas that aircraft are not allowed to fly over, any kind. Maybe except HMX-1, who fly the president and some of the members of Congress and Senate and everything. But if you're not part of HMX-1, you cannot fly in these areas. And when I flew what's called the low-level route around D.C., which goes right by Reagan, at the time, I had a max altitude of 100 feet above ground level. Now, I've come to understand that it's currently 200 feet above ground level is the maximum on certain routes. What I don't know, and the investigation will show this, and I've heard speculation, that Black Hawk was on a route that had a max altitude of 200 feet, and it seems the impact took place between 300 and 350 feet above ground level. That will become a key factor in the investigation. Why were they 100, if they were high, why were they 150 feet high? And did that have a actual causal factor into this mishap? But the investigation should show that.
Now, you mentioned some chatter that you'd heard with the air traffic controller. How much coordination is usually done over the radio there with air traffic control as you're moving through the congested areas?
You're talking about military and civilian air traffic control? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, a ton. When I flew those low-level routes, it was almost continuous. You had to report points. And, I don't remember all the reporting points. It's been a bit, but you'd fly your 100 feet and below route, you'd hit a checkpoint, you'd report it. Checkpoint A, checkpoint B, checkpoint C. And the air traffic control guys are following you on their map or radar, however they do it, until you're out of their airspace. And that's pretty standard, is they're going to follow that traffic. At some point, it becomes a responsibility of the ATC. Now they're going to control you to what I would call the endpoint, and then they pass you on to the next controller, which could be Dulles in this instance or somewhere else. So I don't want to call it continuous because you're not having an ongoing conversation, but it's often. You're making calls often and they're calling you often. And in the audio, they are talking to that Black Hawk quite a bit. And what I understand is we did not hear some of the recordings because they have not released all those recordings yet of the Black Hawk response.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any particular vulnerabilities of a Black Hawk? And my understanding is this was a Black Hawk UH-60. Did I hopefully my sources are right about that. So if this is that particular aircraft, is there anything about the mobility or being nimble on that would present additional challenges in this type of situation? I mean, I know different vehicles have different strengths and weaknesses.
Not in my opinion. That is an amazing aircraft. It's flown by amazing people. I've flown in combat with Black Hawk pilots, escorting them as they flew into hot landing zones to pick up wounded Marines and soldiers and whomever they're picking up. They're fearless men and women, and they'll go in. They're going in, right? That's the deal. Someone's hurt, they're going in, period. And I've seen them land in landing zones that I wouldn't want to put a Cobra in. So it's a very maneuverable platform. It's an amazing platform. And I don't think, unless there was a mechanical issue, I don't think the platform had anything to do with the mishap, unless there's something mechanical that we don't know yet. And I go back to I'm on a diatribe on this black box for the voice data recorder.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we had one in the cockpit and while they're flying, they had an emergency, which could be a reason why they climbed. And they were able to talk about that. It may not change the mishap. Maybe it would have certainly still happened in this case, but now we might know for the next time and maybe prevent the next mishap.
Absolutely. I'm exactly there with you. Now, what should the public be expecting from the investigation? I know everybody's chomping at the bit for more information. They want some conclusions. They want to hang this mishap on something, but I think, I'm sure there's a lot of patience that's going to be required.
Well, there is. And one thing, this is an interesting concept that I haven't, I've done several interviews over the last 2 days. I haven't brought this concept up, but an aviation mishap is what's known as privileged. And what does that mean? So say there's an individual in that Black Hawk squadron and he or she goes to the investigators and says, the reason why this crash happened is because of maintenance. And then they go on a list of things. Well, they give her basically, I don't want to use the term immunity because that's not the appropriate term, but they're never going to tell who said that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a protection, because if you're talking to a pilot and the pilot says, well, I did this, the pilot wouldn't say that if you were going to prosecute him for that. You see what I mean? So they want to get to the truth, so they make it privileged. And so I think what we'll see, we're not going to see a full mishap. What we're going to see is a summary. They will probably discuss who is at fault, because they do. And that's probably going to be the extent of it. We will also see a JAG manual investigation, a Judge Advocate General investigation that will be done by a separate body. That information is not privileged. And what that can do is that can assign actual blame. And so say the squadron commander is at fault for a mishap, and I've seen this in the Marine Corps several times, because of whatever he or she is doing. If they're found at fault in a JAG manual, they're often relieved, and sometimes they're relieved in a indication of a aviation mishap board, but you may not know why, if that makes sense.
Got some thoughts on it? Let me know. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Vic Porcelli Show. Colombo and Company. Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Hey, if you're 50 or older, you do not want to take any risk with your money. In fact, you want Leslie Consulting. My friend Bob Leslie can show you a gain and retain plan. Means that you never lose. Plus, you get up to a 20% bonus on day one. Leslie Consulting, a leader in brokerage and risk management. 314-721-0066. LeslieConsulting.com.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Attention St. Louis small business owners. Dive into the power of video with Blue Ocean Media Group. We create affordable, eye-catching content that makes waves on social media and strengthens your brand. Don't let big budgets hold you back. Our professional team delivers pro quality at small business prices. Boost your online presence, engage customers, and watch your business grow. Visit blueomg.com today to start your video journey. That's blueomg.com.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, the groundhog has spoken, Stel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at least the one everybody pays attention to. And we had an earthquake over the weekend.
I heard about that.
We will rebuild.
My lawn chair fell over. I will rebuild.
We will rebuild. All right. Oh, man, that's a good way to start. Man, I still have this dry cough. My goodness. Driving me nuts. Sorry about that. All right. Donald Trump imposes tariffs, Mexico and Canada. Are we at the beginning of a trade war, or is he just like sending a message? We're going to get into that during the news dump at 6:05. Even Donald Trump's admitting, like, yeah, this is going to hurt for a little bit. Everybody's going to feel it. But, bigger picture, coming out. So if you're on board with that, you'll make the case for that. But expect things if these tariffs stay in place for any amount of time, expect stuff to get more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it's going to be. Tariffs are a tax on the consumers. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. All right. Well, here's the official announcement that came out of Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania here. Here is what the officialdom people had to say.
Punxsutawney Phil, the seer of seers, was awakened from his wintry nap at dawn on Gobbler's Knob. Phil looked to the skies and then, speaking in groundhogese, directed the president to the proper scroll, which reads, "It's Groundhog Day, and maybe life is on a loop, but I miss my burrow, I miss my coop. So I'm headed back down. There's a shadow up here. Get ready for 6 more weeks of winter this year."
Okay, first of all, why are y'all clapping? That's bad. Secondly, I'm wearing a t-shirt because it's going to be 70 degrees today.
Yeah, don't worry, because his forecasting percentage is not very good.
No, well, apparently the more accurate groundhog, which is in Staten Island, Chuck, predicting spring right away.
Okay.
So I think they should make these more interesting. You know, when this tradition first started, and you can look this up. This was true after the groundhog either saw the shadow and ran back in or stayed up. They filleted and ate the groundhog. I'm saying that would be more interesting. At least that would be must-see TV. Have a barbecue.
Well, I have to admit it is humorous, although not for the groundhog.
No.
When he's dropped, when the guy holding him.
Oh, yeah.
Hands him over to someone else, and they drop the poor guy.
And the thing's just like, let me go. Come on, leave me alone. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Punk's Tiny Phil saying we have 6 more weeks of winter.
All right.
I'm wearing, I guess it's 70 degrees today. That's all I care.
Don't put much in his forecast.
No. Minor earthquake hit the just south of the St. Louis area. So about 7 miles northeast of Festus. So real close to the river, real close to the border. There was a 2.4 magnitude earthquake on Saturday afternoon, 6 o'clock. So basically, I'm telling you this because with 2.4 magnitude, you probably did notice it was 2.4. That's basically like a big rig truck driving by.
Pretty much.
I mean, you're not going to notice that at all. It's funny because I've been through 3 or 4 earthquakes and I have slept through every one of them or never noticed a single one. And then last week you were, right after the show, my mom called up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And she was in that area where they felt that 4 point whatever earthquake up in New England. She said the whole house just shook. And so that was a significant one. But yeah, the one here in Festus didn't change anything.
I think your mom's was centered in Maine. She felt it in New Hampshire.
Yep.
The thing I like about the one near Festus is it gives us an opportunity once again to show how we pronounce things like New Madrid.
That's right.
Instead of New Madrid.
New Madrid, yeah. It's a little bit north of Cairo, Illinois. But we're a long, long, long way from what's the other one? Nevada.
Oh, yeah,
the other
Nevada.
Part of the state. Yeah, precisely.
But just west of New Athens.
I knew it. Yeah, Nathan, I don't understand why people make fun of the way the people in Missouri pronounce things. Just saying.
When you've got something to say, be heard loud and clear.
If they'll just do what they were voted in to do.
This party needs to get a backbone. They need to get some spine.
Join the conversation. St. Louis's place to talk.
The Democrats and the Republicans can give us all the lip service they want, but what they need to do is take action today.
101.9 and 94.1.
You have to take a stand sometimes.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion.
Craving something twisted, something deliciously different? Philly Pretzel Factory in Baldwin is your ticket to pretzel heaven. We're not just talking regular pretzels. We're talking out-of-this-world pretzel creations and mind-blowing pretzel pizza. Don't get yourself in a knot searching for the perfect snack. We've got party trays, specialty items, assorted pretzel tins, plus our legendary dips. Philly Pretzel Factory in Baldwin. Online at phillypretzelfactory.com.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. timeshareagent.com or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump acknowledges his newly announced tariffs aimed at cracking down on the flow of deadly drugs and illegal aliens into the U.S. could cause some pain for Americans, at least for the short term.
With tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China taking effect this week, the emerging trade war could lead to higher prices. The president admitted that Americans could feel some pain in the short term, but he claimed it will all be worth the price that must be paid. He repeatedly bashed Joe Biden for high inflation, and now the Trump tariffs threaten to raise the price of cars, gasoline, clothes, toys, and avocados. Greg Clugston, Washington.
When he sits down with President Trump at the White House tomorrow, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says they'll discuss victory over Hamas. The Prime Minister says the agenda will also cover Iran, as well as winning the release of all of the hostages still being held by Hamas. Crews today will start lifting aircraft wreckage from the mid-air collision from the Potomac River. So far, the remains of 55 of the 67 people killed in the accident have been recovered in last week's other air disaster.
6 people on an air ambulance flight and 1 person on the ground were killed when it crashed in Philadelphia a minute after takeoff Friday. NTSB Chairman Jennifer Hamady says recovery of the intact black box is a challenge.
There is substantial impact on the entire community. The debris field extends 4 or 5 blocks.
The crash coming 2 days after an American Airlines mid-air collision with 64 on board in Washington with an Army helicopter with 3 aboard. I'm Julie Walker.
Following talks with Secretary of State Rubio, Panama's president agrees to opt out of China's Belt and Road Initiative. On Wall Street, the Dow futures down 601 points. NASDAQ futures off 372. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A marvelous Monday forecast for you today with a spring preview underway. My forecast high today is 72, and that's just 3 degrees shy of today's record high of 75, set 135 years ago in 1890. Wow. But the unseasonably warm weather won't last. A dry cold front moves through late this afternoon and this evening. Some clouds behind it tonight, down to 36 for the low. And from 72 today to 47 for the high tomorrow. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you are ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with this free call. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
All right, we're a long way from a final report, but we are getting some more information about what was happening at the time of the mid-air collision in Washington, D.C. Can I still caution everybody, don't jump to conclusions.
Right.
Let the process play out as far as that investigation goes. And just another caution. I'm not going to harp on it the way I did last week, but just put that caution out there.
And your unanswered questions should not lead you to a conclusion.
Right.
They're unanswered.
Exactly. All right. Hundreds of pro-illegal alien protesters took to the, otherwise empty streets of downtown St. Louis this weekend. So at least there was something going on in downtown St. Louis this weekend.
An event.
Yeah. And the first ever News Talk STL song debuts this morning. Make sure you are part of this historic world premiere.
World premiere, absolutely.
7:35. This is a song you are going to hear nowhere else in the world. It is exclusive. We put it together here at News Talk STL.
Grammy's got nothing on us.
Nothing at all.
No.
And
I was literally going to say the exact same thing still.
Yes. Because two things. One, they wouldn't let us in. And two, none of us are naked.
Exactly.
Because apparently, was that Kanye West's wife or whoever she was? It's just some chicks walking around naked.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
She's
that's her thing.
Yeah.
That's her thing.
I don't even know who this person is, but
I'm only vaguely aware.
She's the naked chick at the Grammys.
Yeah,
Whatever it was. Oh my goodness. All right. It is 6:07. Let's go and dump some news on you here.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right. Federal Aviation Administration has reported that only one person was monitoring the air traffic control center during the mid-air collision between an American Airlines plane and an Army helicopter. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was on Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream talking about the possibility of why there is a staffing shortage in air control centers.
During COVID, there was an issue where they shut down the academies. And then when the academies reopened, the class sizes were smaller. And then even though our graduates from the academy got out, they couldn't get into a tower to train up. That happened for 2 years. And so we saw a plummet of air traffic controllers.
All right. Now, as of 2023, which is apparently the last year we have like full numbers and details, the air control tower at Reagan National Airport has been understaffed for years. They only have 19 fully certified controllers for one of the busiest airports in the country. 19.
That's a problem.
You're not covering 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with 19 fully certified controllers. Now, I'm sure they've got assistants all around them or people to do other things. Now, that's a possibility for what contributed to it. But again, it'll be about 3.5 weeks until we get the first preliminary report of that crash.
Yeah, it's starting to shape up to be exactly what we thought it was, which is kind of like a terrible accident, kind of a confluence of a bad situation. But again, we're not jumping to the conclusion.
No.
We're waiting as the information rolls in. We're starting to try to piece it all together.
Right. All right. And that's, by the way, the only and the most respectful thing to do for those who were killed and their families as well. Don't make politics out of it right away. If it turns out the bad politics was involved, then we deal with it, and you've got a lot more credibility after the investigation is completed. All right, President Donald Trump says his newly announced tariffs could cause, quoting here, some pain for Americans.
With tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China taking effect this week, the emerging trade war could lead to higher prices. The president admitted that Americans could feel some pain in the short term, but he claimed it will all be worth the price that must be paid. He repeatedly bashed Joe Biden for high inflation, and now the Trump tariffs threaten to raise the price of cars, gasoline, clothes, toys, and avocados. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And we're talking about a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada, 10% on goods from China. Now, of course, that's meant to make those nations kind of crack down on illegal immigration and on drug smuggling, including fentanyl. Senator Eric Schmidt was on Meet the Press on NBC defending the tariffs.
Bring Canada and Mexico to the table for the fentanyl that is streaming into our communities. It's also worth noting in the last 4 years that the trade imbalance and our trade deficit has gone up 200+% with Canada and up 52% with Mexico. The fact is these countries are taking advantage of us all along the while. We've got fentanyl streaming into our countries.
Yeah. All right. Both Canada and Mexico already imposing retaliatory tariffs, and China's foreign ministry says they are going to do the same thing. You guys okay with being taxed a whole bunch?
Well, yeah, here comes the tariff taxes. But here's the thing. I've said this before, that the tariffs are less an economic policy as they are a foreign policy leverage system. So I'm still holding judgment until I see how this all pans out.
And that's one of the things that we hear is like, I saw some people on Facebook, of course there was big arguments over this because it is going to raise the price.
Oh yeah. It already has raised the price of gas in many places.
Yeah. And if this stays in effect for any amount of time, it is going to make stuff more expensive. So the leverage, the tariffs aren't the leverage. You're the leverage. We're what's being leveraged, and it's going to get more expensive. Question then comes down to, is it worth it? We'll find out. Tariffs are taxes on us. Just keep that in mind the whole time. All right. Pro-illegal alien protesters marched around downtown St. Louis over the weekend. Channel 2 estimates about 1,000 protesters spoke up against the Trump administration's crackdown on illegals. But again, at least somebody went downtown on a weekend.
Yes,
that's how we can look at it.
There was activity in the city. I'm sure the city government's looking at it as a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, did they buy anything? No, they don't have jobs.
No, because nothing's open.
Nothing was open. Yeah, precisely. Oh, goodness. All right, because we know deportations have ramped up just in the first, what are we in, week 3 now? We're beginning week 3 of Donald Trump's administration.
Is it already?
He's now been president 2 weeks. Now we're starting the 3rd week. Is my math right here?
I think so.
Am I mathing correctly on that? ICE has made 7,400 arrests since the president's inauguration. National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto was on Fox News Channel's Fox News Live yesterday, talking about how immigration agents are reacting to the new policies.
They're very happy that there's targeted enforcement going on to get these individuals off the streets.
All right. The Pentagon expecting to send at least 1,000 more troops to either the border or to Guantanamo Bay to aid with deportation efforts. And by the way, quick programming note, I'm just going to mention it again.
Yeah.
7:35 today. This is a first for News Talk STL.
Absolutely.
Obviously a first for the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. We are debuting our first ever song.
Yes.
You said the 2 magic words, by the way.
Which are?
Guantanamo Bay.
That's right. Guantanamo Bay. Make sure you are watching on video or listening at 7:35 to hear the world premiere of Down in Guantanamo. You are not going to hear this anywhere else. We did not get this from one of those services. We made this song here at News Talk STL, and we are going to debut it at 7:35.
And we think you'll really like it.
I think so too.
I think so too.
Absolutely. All right, let's see here. What else is going on here? Looks like we got a high-level meeting coming for the White House here. Get to the right copy here. All right, there it is. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on his way to the U.S. to meet with Donald Trump, and that will be the first visit with a foreign leader since being sworn in the second term. In a video posted on WhatsApp, I guess that's another.
That's another, okay. Yeah. It's an international kind of one.
Got it. Israel's government press office, Netanyahu, lays out what he expects to discuss with President Trump.
In this meeting, we'll deal with important issues, critical issues facing Israel and our region, victory over Hamas, achieving the release of all our hostages, and dealing with the Iranian terror axis and all its components.
And that meeting is going to happen tomorrow. All right, let's see here. Just a quick note. Cardinals pitchers and catchers report to spring training in 9 days.
9 days.
9 days,
Man.
yep. Rest of the team arrives in Jupiter on the 17th. Jordan Kyrie's third period goal was the difference, and the Blues got a win on the road Sunday night. Final score was Utah 1, Blues. I'm sorry. The final score in Utah was Blues 2, Hockey Club 1. That stopped a 4-game losing streak for the Blues. Blues return home tomorrow for a game against the Oilers. And by the way, we had a 2.4 registered earthquake on Saturday.
We did.
Just northeast of Festus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel it in Florissant? No.
No. I don't think they felt it in Festus.
I mean, there was a big rig that went by
That's
recently.
probably about what it
That's
felt
probably
like.
it, yeah.
So that actually happened. 2.4 on the Richter scale. As we said a little bit ago, we will rebuild.
I gotta go pick up my lawn chair.
Yeah.
In case you hear the alarm, get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Hey, want to amaze your friends when they visit? They will be impressed when they see your custom-made drapes, blinds, or shutters. Michael Proctor will personally help you pick out the correct colors to truly showcase your home. Then he will actually design and personally install everything. No overhead markup. That's going to save you a lot of money on drapes, blinds, or shutters.
Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor like doctor.
From starter home to stepping stone, Mama Bear makes this journey her own. With rays that shine and care so true, your home alone dreams are coming through.
Hey, parents, remember when your Cubs took their first steps? Well, now they're ready for their biggest step yet, buying a home. Just like you're there to guide them, Mama Bear Mortgage is here to protect their journey into homeownership. Call me today at 314-775-1026 or visit mamabearmortgage.com.
Missouri NMLS 2557717. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Breaking my back just to know your name. 17 tracks.
You know, sometimes it's a good thing St. Louis City government is inept and dysfunctional.
A good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Okay.
I mean, can you imagine how much more damage they would do to people's lives if they were competent to enact every bit of their left-wing nonsense?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You make a solid argument there.
We saw some of the drama that happened, on Friday. They go back into the Board of Aldermen work tomorrow, and there's a couple people mad at each other. One of them may sue the president of the Board of Aldermen.
Oh wow! Okay.
It got dumb.
Okay, heated and dumb apparently.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because they were talking about the money, the settlement money that they're going to be spending.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because they still haven't decided how to spend
Right.
all of that cash that has come in, from the Ram settlement, right?
Yeah,
So yeah.
And Megan Green didn't like the way that it was going, and she maybe was at risk of losing some of her spending priorities, and she gavelled the thing to a recess and stomped out and chirped at one of the aldermen. and
Wow,
then went on
okay.
social media and accused him of being drunk at the time.
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow. So it got really bad.
It did.
So
All
it's
right.
a normal meeting then.
Now this is of course as opposed to simply saying, oh, we probably should prioritize public safety.
Right. Oh yeah, they're not. Don't be silly.
Okay. All right. So my bad.
All right, 6:19
sorry.
right now. All right, you may want to go see a concert coming up here July 19th, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, aka Riverport, as we used to know it. We have got a guy by the name of Jason Aldean coming to town. just in case you never heard of him. He sings country music, but I think most people have heard of him.
I think so. Don't try that in a small town.
Don't try that in a small town, which probably will be played at the amphitheater. And guess what? You have a chance to go see his Full Throttle Tour 2025, powered by Patriot Mobile, to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, Saturday, July 19th, 2025. Special guests are Nate Smith, Ray Lynn, and DJ Silver, all of whom I have never heard of. But I have heard of Jason Aldean. You can win a pair of tickets right now. Well, you can register to win the pair of tickets right now. NewsTalkSTL.com. We are going to be giving away some of those tickets. So NewsTalkSTL.com if you want a chance to get your hands on a ticket to see Jason Aldean on July 19th and those other people, whoever they are.
Yeah, they'll be.
I should probably know more about country music, but I don't.
No, well, you're kind of known for being a non-country music aficionado. You're the rock guy.
Precisely.
Yeah.
All right. Quick note here. Former Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder was elected chair of the Missouri Republican Party this weekend. That did not surprise me that he was elected chair. I figured that was what was going to happen. I think we all figured that. But what surprised everybody is, once again, Bill Eigel overperforms. The vote was Peter Kinder 36, Bill Eigel 32.
Whoa.
I did not expect that.
I didn't see that coming.
So Bill Eigel, by the way, going to be with us here in about 15 minutes, talking about the next steps in his political future, because he mentioned that on Friday. We were going to have him on Wednesday. Well, he's ready to make his announcement. We're going to do that in about 15 minutes right here. Columbia attorney Jennifer Bukowsky, I've known Jen for years, was elected vice chair. Jen has a very pronounced libertarian streak in her small L libertarian streak. She's going to be with us at 8:35. I was surprised to see some kind of online bickering because Peter Kinder, longest serving lieutenant governor in the state's history, pretty conservative guy. I mean, he's got a pretty strong conservative track record. So Jen Bukowsky, very conservative / libertarian. Not everybody agrees. They wanted the slate that was running with Bill. And, there's something about what Bill Eigel is bringing to the Republican Party that he's overperforming at all of these votes. So the state party and the state lawmakers need to take notice of what's happening with and behind Bill Eigel.
Right.
Ignore that at your own risk. And by the way, I don't think Peter Kinder was a bad choice. But I am very, very surprised that it was as close as it was. All right. So Bill Eigel, 6:35, Jennifer Bukowsky, 8:35. All right. I just mentioned some of the drama at the Board of Aldermen meeting last night.
Right.
So on Friday, the president of the Board of Aldermen, that'd be Dr. Megan Green, stomps off when she wasn't getting her way, gavelled it into recess, and she and Joe Volmer kind of like chirped at each other on the way out. And this was all over, this spending. Well, then she goes on social media and accuses him of being, quote, I'm quoting here, visibly intoxicated.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of a big accusation.
That's a big accusation. Volmer says, the only thing I was on was caffeine. I had coffee.
And other people were there. So, I mean, if you're going to make a visibly anything and other people saw, you'd probably want to, be sure about that.
When the local media was covering this, there wasn't anybody else there who went, oh yeah, he was sauced. Nobody
backed that up.
Nobody saw that
claim.
Same thing. So she's taken down that tweet. She's issued an apology, and Alderman Volmer is now saying, I'm going to have to think about whether or not I'm going to sue her for defamation.
Ooh, dang. Okay. So we're starting to lawyer up already too.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, but Megan Green's not exactly a model of good judgment. She was one of those detained in the protest. Was she was arrested or detained?
I think she was arrested.
Yeah, at the pro Hamas pro terrorism protest at Wash U months back. So she's, when you look at as far to the left as you can get, take another step, and that's where she is.
You're not wrong.
And she's in there with like Tashara Jones and Cori Bush and people like that. And so you've got somebody who is so blinded by extremist ideology that they can't even get along with their fellow Democrats, because there's not a single Republican or independent in City Hall.
Right.
Not one. It doesn't, that person does not exist right now. Maybe they're out there somewhere in St. Louis yet to be elected, but they ain't there right now.
It's all lefties all the time.
Exactly. So it's all degrees of leftism,
right?
That they're fighting over. By the way, did you see there was some polling that went out, and we know what I think of polling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of it right now, but what was interesting is when they looked at the favorable, unfavorable, and who vote. Tashara Jones is a very, very distant second place in that polling for mayor. Kara Spencer is the front runner.
Oh, wow.
At
Okay.
this point in the mayoral election.
Didn't we talk to her?
We talked to Kara over at Nadine's.
At Nadine's, that's
she
right.
Came and hung out with us for a little while there. But Kara Spencer is running on a platform of delivering basic city services.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, you're going to throw out your tie rod on the potholes, driving around parts. Trash isn't getting picked up. Snowplows weren't around. So she's doing now. Is Kara a far leftist? Yes.
Oh God, absolutely.
Is she as extreme as Tashara Jones? Not even close.
No. Well, and certainly not to the point where, her leftism would override the idea that the city should provide basic services.
Right.
Because that's kind of where a lot of these other people are. Where their leftism overrides the good judgment of just having garbage picked up.
Right. And see, that's the thing is if City Hall were focused on doing municipal government just has very simple, basic things it should be doing.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a town of 200 or you're in a dying town of 290,000, like the city of St. Louis is, pick up the trash, make sure that the fire department is there. The police department is there. The ambulance is there. Make sure the streets are paved. The sidewalks are done. The parks look nice. I mean, they're just very basic.
Make the city livable.
Yeah. This is not an ideological level of government, or at least it shouldn't be, because when it becomes that, things get messed up. And so to your point, Gabe, and I'm curious what Stealth thinks about this. If you had far extreme leftist who simply focused on delivering those things, now I'd probably argue with them over the level of taxation to deliver those things. But
yeah.
And that's what they did. I could even support particular candidates if they were good at delivering that, and then just argue with them, tell them they're wrong over coffee.
Yeah.
On the weekends over the ideological stuff. But that's not what happens at St. Louis City Hall.
We've had too many years of inept government
in
the city hall downtown. And I think you're asking too much of the city, Mike. You're asking for, streets to be taken care of and garbage picked up and nice parks. And come on, man.
That it be livable.
Yeah, precisely. I know.
All Mike's asked for is a livable city. And of course, that's crazy.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
As also pointed out by how many people are leaving the city every day. I made a snarky joke in the news dump, and I'll do it again here at 6:50 after we talk to Bill Eigel here at 6:35. And that is at least something was happening downtown this weekend. There are no Cardinals games yet. Of course, I don't know what kind of attendance they're going to get this year. Blues were on the road. I don't know if there are any concerts or not. I didn't hear any, but basically they had free run to walk around Keener Plaza and Broadway and that area because nothing else is going on there.
I lived in the city for 53 years, and I look at the way it's being operated now. And actually, I'm amazed that I lasted for 53 years because it's just gone totally downhill. Some of those great days back in the 80s with St. Louis Center and the revitalization of Union Station and everything that was going on downtown, it was exciting. I don't know what happened. Sometime between then and now, the inept city government just destroyed the city.
They lost their frickin' minds is what's happened out there. But what's going to happen is because, when you looked at the, and again, I don't want to put a lot of stock in the polling that got released and covered over the weekend. It was by one of the bigger polling firms, though somebody commissioned professionals to do it. Just professionals haven't been very good in recent years.
Right.
I don't know how seriously they put their trade to this one right here, but the numbers were interesting. Tashara Jones, massive unfavorable. People are feeling the pinch of bad, inept government. And this all comes down to ideology overriding, just like you said, Gabe, and you're 100% right. Ideology overriding basic competence to deliver basic services. When they're looking at all of this money, you look at some of the stuff that they're arguing for. They want to provide childcare. They want to do college scholarship. It's like you don't have enough police officers or enough people to answer 911 calls. There were more reports last week of people calling 911 and getting a recording saying, "We'll be with you soon."
That's so
and
crazy.
I know that's a real thing because I got that recording when I was calling when my friend Brian was dying on a baseball field about 2 years ago.
Yeah, so this is real. It affects real people. And it's not just this, the partisan sniping or ideological battle stuff, which, has its place. But we're just talking about basic freaking, services in a city.
Yeah.
And they can't deliver because they're preoccupied with all this, the woke garbage.
Yeah, precisely. All right. Let's see here. You know what? Let's go ahead and get an information segment in here. Bill Eigel going to be with us. So guys, ignore what I sent you on the plan here. Bill Eigel is going to be with us at 6:35. He texted me yesterday saying, you know what? I'm ready to make that announcement that we were going to make on Wednesday. So we're going to talk to him here in a few minutes and find out what's next for Bill Eigel. It's right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Close in a place like this. Anything goes, but don't blink, you might miss. Cause heaven ain't close in a place like this. I said heaven ain't close in a place like this.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
The far left wants to destroy conservative values in America.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A marvelous Monday forecast for you today with a spring preview underway. My forecast high today is 72, and that's just 3 degrees shy of today's record high of 75, set 135 years ago in 1890. Wow. But the unseasonably warm weather won't last. A dry cold front moves through late this afternoon and this evening. Some clouds behind it tonight, down to 36 for the low. And from 72 today to 47 for the high tomorrow. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Larry Connors here. I'm heading to southern Italy on a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. 11 magical days in luxury with professionals from Conservative Tours. The cost, $54.88. That includes airfare from St. Louis. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. Let's go to Italy this spring. conservativetours.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Today, the very latest on the investigation into the tragedy that happened at Reagan International Airport.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson.
You know, I don't typically have guests on back to back because I mean this is a big deal on a show. But when Bill Eigel says I've got something to say, I'm like, heck yeah.
Well, he's always got something to say. But this time it's more important.
We're joined now by former state senator Bill Eigel. Bill, I actually when you and I talked a few months ago about, hey, let's have you on regularly because people still want to hear from you, which obviously was shown at the voting over the weekend. Which, by the way, is I thought we should name it Eigel Unleashed. You know,
yeah.
but no. So I appreciate that. Bill texted me yesterday because you teased on Friday that you've got another announcement coming up with clarity as to what's going to happen, and then I appreciate over the weekend saying, you know what. Made my decision, making my call. Let's move it to today, which absolutely fantastic. Want to get to that in just a second. But let me ask you real quick. The voting for Missouri Republican Party chair, if you were looking at the odds from Vegas, everybody would have said, well, there's no race here. Peter Kinder's going to win. And I like Peter. But the fact that it was so close, 36-32, once again, you come in and get far more votes than anybody expected, and you overperformed with the voting. I know that to some degree, people like you, the most conservative parts of the party like you, but is this saying something about what's happening in the conversation within the Missouri Republican Party itself? Is there something bigger going on?
Yeah, I think this is kind of a reflection of what's been going on in the Republican Party for the past several years now. I think folks are looking for that bold conservative leadership that we've talked about. We talked about it throughout my campaign last year, and that's going to continue to be a trend. And I was honored that so many folks from the state committee asked me to stand for that nomination. I was happy to do that. And today is a new day. And I got to tell you, I am continually trying to work hard to make sure that I'm speaking to more important things. I just don't know if the implication there was that I've ever talked about things that are unimportant. I don't know what that was.
No.
I don't know if that was the case. But
I just thought it sounded cool, But the reason we didn't have going with it is to your point is we're like, well, when has Bill ever been leashed? So we're like, all right, that makes clear. All right, so let's talk about what's next then. You teased it on Wednesday. You got a decision coming up, and then of course you and I were talking over the weekend. So what's next for Bill Eigel in the worlds of policy and politics? What is it that people need to know?
Well, I tell you what. In short, I'm coming home, and I have. It's amazing that it's been a half a year since we had the end of my last campaign. And I've been spending a lot of time here where I've spent a lot of time for more than 2 decades right here in St. Charles County. And you guys know I'm passionate about a lot of things, but I'm very passionate about St. Charles County. I've run a business here. I've raised a family here. My family is from St. Charles County. St. Charles County has consistently supported me through all of these endeavors. And the role that St. Charles County is going to play at the state level is tremendous for the next generation to come. That's why, after giving this a lot of thought, I'm going to be spending the next few weeks putting together the foundation and the infrastructure to ask the people of St. Charles if they would entrust me to be their next county executive when it comes up in 2026.
All right, there it is. There's the announcement. Bill Eigel for County Executive, St. Charles County. So once, obviously get the campaign infrastructure and everything in place right there. But what are the things that are maybe the top 1 or 2 challenges that St. Charles County is facing right now, and what does an Eigel administration bring to that?
Well, first of all, we're going to continue to do the things that have made St. Charles County successful and a statewide leader for the past 30 or 40 years. We're going to continue to have a low tax, low regulation environment that's attracting businesses, that's building communities. We have some of the best cities anywhere in the state of Missouri, right here in St. Charles County. Those things are absolutely going to continue, and we're going to continue to attract businesses and economic activity from all over the country. So that's number one. But number two, we're going to be an advocate. St. Charles has challenges that you don't see in other places of the state. We have some of because of the growth that we've seen here in St. Charles County, we have some of the largest traffic issues and transportation issues that you just don't see anywhere else. And anybody that has gotten stuck in the traffic jam up at 40 and 70 by Wentzville can attest to the fact that we have some challenges here that are not getting addressed. So really, part of this is being an advocate for the third largest county in the state of Missouri and making sure that when we are getting our fair shares of the pie down in Jefferson City, that we're not left behind because we are leading this state. So we're going to continue to do those things that are still important and making us successful, but we're going to be an advocate. And I think that everybody understands that. Absolutely. I've been an advocate for a lot of different issues. I would be thrilled to be able to be the advocate for the 430,000 people here in the great county of St. Charles.
Morning, Bill. Gabe here, and obviously you garnered a lot of support from a lot of corners. I'm just wondering what you're hearing from the various people that you've talked to ahead of this decision.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have some announcements in the coming couple of weeks as we get this put together. I think people are really going to be blown away by the folks that are going to come out and really be ready to support this. But more than that, I mean, look at the support that I've been blessed to get from the people of St. Charles. All three of the times that I've run for office, the people of St. Charles have overwhelmingly supported me, and I've been incredibly blessed and humbled by that support. And I think that they've really resonated with this conservative, bold message that I have, because that's what's made St. Charles County successful in the first place. So I am hopeful and optimistic that that's going to continue. But you know what? I'm not taking anything for granted. I've got to go back and I've got to ask the people of St. Charles for their trust in me once again, and I'm excited to do so. So lots to come here in the coming weeks, but we're ready to get rolling.
We're visiting with former State Senator Bill Eigel, who just announced that he's running for county executive of St. Charles County in the 2026 elections. Okay, so with the state government and obviously the local governments rightly focusing on different things, what does your time in the state government equip you with when it comes to that sort of more advocacy and administrative role that the county executive has in St. Charles County?
Well, it is going to be a slightly different role from what I'm used to when I was working down in Jefferson City. And when I was in Jefferson City, it was a legislative type of a position versus now I'm seeking an executive type position in St. Charles County. But I tell you what, the experience I had in Jefferson City, navigating one of our state's worst bureaucracies and all the waste that goes on down there in Jefferson City, I think it equips me very, very well to be able to tackle those kind of challenges from the executive's position here in St. Charles County. You know, a lot of the things that I was talking about in the gubernatorial race can be addressed here in St. Charles County. You know, we were talking a lot about illegal immigration in the gubernatorial race. Well, I'm sure you guys heard just last week we had an incident where illegal immigrants had to be picked up by ICE at one of the local restaurants in O'Fallon. So a lot of the challenges that are being addressed at the state level, we're going to be facing those here in St. Charles. Certainly, St. Charles is also a low crime county, but you know, we've got problems elsewhere in the region, and we've got to be constantly vigilant to make sure St. Charles County continues to be a safe community that people feel comfortable in, that people could raise a family in. And we're going to ensure that every one of those things are done. And I'm excited.
So just one of the things I've observed over the last couple of years, Bill, is the question over development. You know, particularly when you look at central and western St. Charles County. I mean, there's kind of that conflict between do we allow more developments as far as neighborhoods, as far as, you know, rental properties, as far as mixed use development? What's the right balance and what's the role of government when it comes to that growth? Because the reality is, Bill, there's a lot of people who really want to leave the city and want to leave St. Louis County and go to St. Charles. And right now there's just more people wanting to go there than frankly there is homes and places available.
Well, yeah, and I would say, you know, in a sense, St. Charles is fortunate that we have so much demand for people wanting to be here, people wanting to come here and wanting to be a part of the St. Charles community. I mean, that's trust me, I've always said that, you know, in the realm of geopolitics, if you have population growth, everything else can be fixed. And St. Charles has been blessed with the most population growth of anywhere in the state. So that being said, we've got to be deliberate and careful about how we allow that to occur in St. Charles, because there's a lot of communities in St. Charles County that thrive on not being the center of population. If you look at the kind of the southwestern areas, you get out into the Herman areas, the Defiant areas, those folks are not looking for the mass growth in population size that some of the other areas are. On the other hand, if you look at the 70 corridor, if you look along Wentzville and some of our larger cities, I think there are opportunities for new homes to be built, and we're going to be supportive of both of those different mindsets here in St. Charles County. We have been blessed with a very wide variety of settings here in St. Charles County that can accommodate different levels of growth, and we're going to have to take it on a case-by-case basis. But what I know is folks are going to want to continue to come to St. Charles County. We're going to be walking a very careful tightrope to make sure we're not putting too much growth in, but at the same time, we want to welcome folks in, and we want this to be a place that people see as a leader for growth in the state of Missouri.
Bill, we've seen the same sort of situation play out around the country where cities, counties, states that have had really good red leadership start turning purple because of all the blues who are starting to move in. Are there any concerns about that kind of, taking a hold of various levers of power and kind of turning the problem upside down?
Well, yes, of course, that's always going to be in the back of anyone's mind. But I tell you what, my focus is on making sure that St. Charles County would continue to do the things that have made it successful in the first place. And again, that low tax, low regulation environment that welcomes business, that low crime environment that keeps people safe. That's going to make sure people are looking beyond even the partisan labels of their elected officials and entrusting the right people that have a good vision for where their county moves forward from here. So, yes, we're going to keep an eye on that. But at the same time, as long as we keep taking care of business like St. Charles County has been doing for the better part of a generation, I think we're going to continue to be very successful.
What are the next challenges that those emergency services, law enforcement, fire, because you talk about public safety a lot, and that's obviously really crucial, especially since so much of the problem St. Charles County deals with is coming out of other areas, like you said, and that's true. I mean, that's demonstrable. It's coming out of the city, and to some degree, it's coming out of North County as well. But not that there aren't a few troublemakers around St. Charles County. But when you look at what's ahead for emergency services, particularly law enforcement, how does the county government need to stay ahead of that? I mean, what needs to be done to prepare for whatever's next?
Well, I think when it comes to our emergency services, we got to keep in mind that we have some of the best emergency services personnel anywhere in the state. We've got the best fire, we've got the best police, we have a great St. Charles County ambulance district, and we're going to make sure that we're continuing to get the resources to those organizations so that they can serve the people of the state, or excuse me, the people of the county. That being said, though, we're going to make sure that we do so efficiently. There isn't a government entity in existence that that wouldn't benefit from a little bit more efficiency. We're going to be watchdogs on that, and I think that's the trend, not just here in the state of Missouri, but around the country. I mean, look at what Donald Trump is doing up in Washington D.C., making sure that we're delivering those necessary government services, but we're doing so efficiently. So we know that the people of St. Charles County are always going to expect and demand that we're making sure that our emergency services personnel have all the resources they need. We're going to do that, but we're going to make sure that we're also doing so efficiently and doing a good job spending efficiently the taxpayer money.
All right. And is there a website up? We've already tagged you on social media. People want to follow your campaign, get involved. What's the way to do it?
Yeah, well, we're going to be active on BillEigel.com. You've probably been familiar with that, at Bill Eigel on Twitter. And we're going to be a lot more. There's not a whole lot of stuff yet as we just get rolling. But as you can see, if you're following over there for the next few weeks, there'll be a lot to look at. All
right. Appreciate you getting in touch with me over the weekend. Former State Senator Bill Eigel just announcing he's running for county executive in St. Charles County. Thanks, Bill.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great morning.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. 314.
Bless you.
I'm struggling today. 314-912-1019. Man, those snuck up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. They got you
on that. Man, got me. All right. So not to sneeze on Bill's parade there, but no, Bill Eigel now running for county executive in St. Charles County. This conversation is going to be up on our podcast here in a couple hours. Be sure to check that out and share it with your friends in St. Charles County. Let's get you updated on what's happening around the country and the world after this, right around 6:51 on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Transform your space with JML Interior Design in Clayton. For 32 years, local woman business owner Jeannie Lashmet has been creating stunning interiors that reflect your vision. From residential to commercial, kitchens to corporate spaces, JML Interior Design brings expertise to every project. Planning a home remodel, tackling new construction, or the expert commercial interior space planning service. Jeannie and her team deliver great designs that work. Call 314-453-4233 or visit jmlinteriors.net. JML Interior Design. We just don't dream it, we do it.
Stuffed on the perfect Valentine's gift? We've got you covered. News Talk STL wants to help you paint the town red with your special someone. Enter our Valentine's contest at newstalkstl.com, and you could win an incredible prize package from the area's finest. Don't let Valentine's pass you by. Visit newstalkstl.com to register now. Brought to you by Jules on Hampton, Trolley Stop Bakery, Patricia's, and Viviano's Festa Italiano.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio 3 times every week yet on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning.
We get some rules to
All right, we're still a long way from the final report, but we're getting some more information about what was happening at the time of that midair collision in Washington, D.C. I'm going to risk getting myself in trouble again here. You know, over the past several years, anything and everything that you disagreed with the leftist on, their answer was racist.
Yes.
It's all racism.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it became kind of a meme and a joke.
Oh, it absolutely still is a meme.
Can I caution everybody on our side that the minute something goes wrong, don't immediately start yelling DEI.
Yes, that's basically the right's equivalent to the left screaming racism.
Right.
Every
And getting rid of all the DEI stuff is absolutely the right thing to do. I frankly love how bold Trump's been on this. But at this point, it's risking becoming basically code words for the women folk and the blacks. Is really what that's starting to become.
Yeah.
So be very, very careful. Don't lose the meaning when you're pointing out you want to get rid of the racist, the ridiculous DEI programs out there, the left think DEI. So don't just yell DEI at everything, which is we're starting to see in some cases.
Yeah, don't become what they say you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of we watched it happen on the left, right? It's like there was maybe there were some legitimate situations of racism.
Sure.
Well, I mean, there was going to be some lingering racism issues, right? So people started saying racism, and then racism became everything, and then the people crying racism became racists. Right. And we watched it happen.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, that's not right.
Yeah.
We're starting to see inklings of that sort of thing creeping into the discussions on the right.
The slow motion train crash where you stand there going, you may not want to do that.
It's like, take it easy.
You may want to go the other way.
Take it easy.
So, just be cautious.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing the bigger picture. All right. It is 6:53. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
But to be clear, DEI programs suck.
Yes.
And they have no place.
Every
in
single
anything.
one of them.
Every one of them. All right. The Federal Aviation Administration reporting now that only one person was monitoring the Air Traffic Control Center during that midair collision between an American Airlines plane and an Army helicopter last week.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was on Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream, talking about the possibility why there is a staffing shortage in air traffic control centers.
During COVID, there was an issue where they shut down the academies. And then when the academies reopened, the class sizes were smaller. And then even though our graduates from the academy got out, they couldn't get into a tower to train up. That happened for 2 years. And so we saw a plummet of air traffic controllers.
As of 2023, the air control tower at Reagan National Airport had been understaffed for years. And they had apparently 19 fully certified controllers at one of the busiest, most technologically advanced airports in the country.
Now, this may be one of the only instances where you could kind of make the DEI argument, because it did reduce the number of people who found themselves in the pool of hireable air traffic controllers. So, I mean, if you want to go far back and say, yeah, but making a direct connection about DEI being the cause of this particular disaster, I think is a stretch.
Yeah, I think so too. And we don't have any evidence for it.
Right.
It's not yet. Maybe there'll be something that says there is. But
maybe that one person was unqualified.
Right. I don't know. We'll see. All right. President Donald Trump saying his newly announced tariffs could cause, using his words here, some pain for Americans.
With tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China taking effect this week, the emerging trade war could lead to higher prices. The president admitted that Americans could feel some pain in the short term, but he claimed it will all be worth the price that must be paid. He repeatedly bashed Joe Biden for high inflation, and now the Trump tariffs threaten to raise the price of cars, gasoline, clothes, toys, and avocados. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Yeah, so brace for stuff getting more expensive if this continues. If this goes on weeks or months and additional tariffs are added and retaliatory, a lot of stuff could get pretty expensive.
Yeah, the biggest impact is going to be on gasoline.
Yeah,
because we do get a lot of crude oil from Canada.
Yeah, yep, without a doubt. All right, pro-illegal alien protesters marched around downtown St. Louis over the weekend. Channel 2 estimates that about 1,000 protesters spoke up against the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal aliens. But once again, I'm just going to point out at least somebody went downtown St. Louis on a weekend. So there's that.
Somebody had to have bought a sandwich or something from a place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like after throwing bricks and screaming all night or whatever the heck they were doing, you had to be tired and hungry. So you had to stop in someplace. Maybe somebody made $6 on a burger.
I hope so. Then it's all worth it.
It is all worth it.
All right. Deportations, of course, ramping up under Donald Trump. ICE has made 7,400 arrests since the president's inauguration. National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto was on Fox News Channel's Fox News Live this weekend talking about how immigration agents, the people on the front lines, are reacting to the new policies.
They're very happy that there's targeted enforcement going on to get these individuals off the streets.
And the Pentagon is expected to send at least 1,000 more troops to either the border or to Guantanamo Bay, maybe some combination therein, to aid with those deportation efforts. And speaking of Guantanamo Bay, we've got a quick programming note in about 37 minutes. So right around 7:35.
So excited.
This is a first for News Talk STL and for the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. We are debuting our first ever song.
Is this a first for talk radio in St. Louis?
I might be.
Because
this isn't, a lot of times you'll hear like a song out there and it's like we just kind of rip it off one of those subscription services.
Yeah.
This song was made in-house. This is
entirely.
Yeah, exclusive to News Talk STL.
It's so exciting.
So make sure that you're watching or listening at 7:35 to hear the world premiere of the new song Down in Guantanamo.
I bet Trump would like this song.
I think he would. I almost guarantee you that he would.
He'd doing a Trump dance on it.
Yep. The Blues broke their 4-game losing streak. They beat Utah last night 2-1.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this. You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
News, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that. I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset.
Thanks for taking my call. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Deadline day for FBI employees. They have till 3 Eastern Time this afternoon to verify any work they did on criminal cases relating to the J6 U.S. Capitol riot.
Employees must answer a questionnaire listing their job title and any role they played in the investigations. It's sparking fear about a fresh round of firings at the FBI after last week's firings of 10 senior officials. Critics believe President Trump is carrying out a purge of FBI and Justice Department officials who not only played roles in the January 6 prosecutions, but in criminal cases against Donald Trump. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Saying the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world, President Trump defending the tariffs about to take effect on certain imports from China, Canada, and Mexico. Mr. Trump acknowledges the tariffs could cause a little pain for American consumers over the near term, but he says it's necessary to achieve positive long-term change. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is visiting the U.S. for the first time in 3 years. Tomorrow, he'll meet with President Trump at the White House. The Prime Minister credits bold Israeli action for changing the face of the volatile Mideast.
Our decisions and the courage of our soldiers have redrawn the map. But I believe that working closely with President Trump, we can redraw it even further and for the better. I believe that we can strengthen security, broaden the circle of peace, and achieve a remarkable era of peace through strength.
Today, crews begin lifting debris of the American Airlines plane from the Potomac River. The plane and an Army helicopter collided last week near Reagan National Airport, killing 67 people. The remains of 55 of the victims recovered so far. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 674 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hear me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be
Reeling in the refund.
Limited time offer offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A marvelous Monday forecast for you today with a spring preview underway. My forecast high today is 72, and that's just 3 degrees shy of today's record high of 75, set 135 years ago in 1890. Wow. But the unseasonably warm weather won't last. A dry cold front moves through late this afternoon and this evening. Some clouds behind it tonight, down to 36 for the low. And from 72 today to 47 for the high tomorrow. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
When you've been hurt in an accident, you need a law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, Onder Law has been winning for St. Louis. With over $5 billion in negotiated settlements and over $300 million in verdicts, Onder wins. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row, Onder wins. Whether it's settlements, verdicts, or awards, Onder wins. If you've been hurt in a car accident, trucking accident, or hurt on the job, Onder Law will get you the money you deserve. At Onder Law, winning is what we do. So when the stakes are high, Onder wins. Call us today for a free consultation. We don't get paid unless we win for you. Dial 314 or 6189-million. That's 314 or 6189, then all zeros. Or visit us online at onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple saw stereo!
Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! This is your cousin.
You know, if the DNC didn't exist, we might have to invent them for comedic purposes.
You're not wrong.
I know. The thing is that what would come with it are all the bad ideas, but just they were. Did you watch any of their convention this past weekend?
I watched portions of it.
My goodness.
I watched portions of the speeches by all 4,700 people who wanted to be a chair or vice chair.
And the one just started singing.
Yes,
she made
this was on my heart, so I'm gonna sing it. It's like, lady, this is not a Sunday night service.
No, she was like trying to do a black gospel sort of like government sucks, which actually I'm like, you know what? If you take that with pretty much any outlook, but I was like, yeah, government sucks because your party did it.
Exactly, your party loves that stuff.
7:06 right now. All right, we got Valentine's Day coming up, as you know. So paint the town red with us. Well, actually, we're not going to be there on your date.
No, yeah.
But paint the town red this Valentine's Day. So we have got some of our fantastic partners and advertisers here who are giving gift baskets. And if you go to newstalkstl.com, you can register to win one of those. And we are talking possibly winning gift baskets from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, Jewels on Hampton, Harry J's Steakhouse. Man, that'd be a great place to take a date.
That sounds awesome.
Let's see here. Where else? We've got Papa Bear Popcorn, Patricia's as well, Viviano's Festa Italiano, Trolley Stop Bakery, you name it. You could win one of those. So go to newstalkstl.com. You can register to win. Winners are going to be notified on the 11th, so you got plenty of time to get your prize, and your sweetheart does not need to know that you got it for free off the
right. We are going to keep that on the down low, but it's just between us.
I think there's probably, I understand in a separate thing, people on the down low with Patricia's.
Yes.
Well, there's probably some connection there too.
Yeah, there's probably a connection with that.
I should probably leave it right
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Precisely. And if you know, shh. All right. By the way, we are less than 30 minutes away from the world premiere.
That's why we're so giddy.
I know. I'm really excited about this. Of the first ever News Talk STL song from Mike Ferguson in the morning right here.
It's an original.
This is an original song made in-house.
Mm-hmm.
So at 7:35, make sure that you're listening or watching on video. And
get out your cassette player and be ready to hit the record and play button at the same time, right when it hits.
And we are going to premiere the song "Down in Guantanamo."
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for this song.
All right, Democratic National Committee elected new leadership over the weekend, and it was something.
It was glorious.
Oh my!
In
goodness.
the worst way possible.
Oh. Okay, just to set the tone, and I don't even know this guy's name. He was one of the leadership there, and they're doing their elections. So the DNC has a chair, and then they have 4 vice chairs.
Right.
Which, so he's giving the rules as far as who they have to have on the ballot and who they have to elect. And again, I don't know the guy's name, but this is part of the nonsense, and this is how the far left thinks. This is unreal.
Rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
Okay, but does the far left still think there's like 1,200 genders? How do you divide that into 6?
Yes. Well, here's the thing about them. They don't know why they lost still.
I know, that's it.
They don't understand. They're not getting that this is exactly what was repudiated in November.
So the funny part is they called this a leadership conference. I don't think they know what leadership really means.
No idea.
No.
Because this guy doubled down on it. Listen to this. He goes even more in depth, like to make sure.
It's part of the rules,
and
man.
They're all acting like, well, of course. Doesn't everybody know this? I mean, it's how out of touch there is amazing. Check this out.
To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules. To do this, our process will be slightly different than the one outlined to you earlier this week, but I hope you will see that in practice it is simple and transparent. The order of balloting is designed to ensure equal access to the ballot, regardless of gender identity. As we must elect a candidate of any gender as well as 1 male and 1 female vice chair, we will first ask members to elect a candidate of any gender on the first ballot.
Yeah. So they were like narrowing it down until like the last vote is like, okay, we got to have a male or we got to have a female. And who in the end did they elect? A white guy.
Well, but the thing is, he's got the extra victim points, because on balance, when you've got your victim points that are associated with your gender, with your sexuality, and with various other factors, your ableism and all these
right.
other, so you have to include all of those. Now, but the thing is, being the quote unquote victim of gun violence makes you supreme. So
Apparently.
that it overrides some of the others, especially because he's a white male. Now, whether he's straight or not is still in question.
Yeah, David Hogg. Remember him?
Yeah.
He's the pretend victim of the Parkland shooting in Florida. And I say that, people get so mad. It's like he's a survivor. The media's like, survivor of the Parkland. He wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
He changed his story early on. He's like, yeah, I heard about it and I got on my bike and I went as fast as I could to the school. And then he was like, oh yeah, I was in the school. No, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
He was not a survivor of it. And so this guy became like the voice of pro-gun control messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just went far left ideology. Because who was it? Was it Harvard that took him in, even though he wasn't even more near
qualified? No,
and he didn't last very long out there. And then he just went away. But you look at a collection of some of his tweets over the years.
They're terrible.
Yeah, let's see here. Unlike COVID, there is no vaccine for climate change. Once we start feeling the impacts, we can just implement and survive. There is only one solution: prevention. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another one. The NRA needs to be designated a terrorist organization for their role their supporters played in staging an insurrectionist coup.
I remember that
Yeah.
one. I remember that one in particular.
Yeah.
Like, really? Is this really what you're talking about?
You know
right
who
now?
else called the NRA a terrorist organization?
Mhm.
RFK Jr. on Twitter. Just saying,
yeah,
just putting it
yeah.
out there.
Mhm.
So he says that. And there's another one: defund the police, not the USPS.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's another one. That's
Right.
another good one.
This is David Hogg, one of
Mhm.
the new vice chairs of the Democratic Party,
Mhm.
and he also had another one just said abolish ICE.
Yes, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. I remember.
And so when this is this who the Democrats think is going to re-engage?
Well, what's
with
funny
the,
is
with the youth male vote that they lost.
That's
Yeah.
the key that was kind of behind his support here. Was the idea that, you know, because they lost, the Democrats lost so bigly, as somebody likes to say, in certain demographics, particularly, you know, young white males, they need to get themselves a young white male to appeal to them, right? Like that's kind of how Democrat thinking works. Now, of course, this isn't the young white male you want to appeal to, the young white males that you lost. You're not getting those guys back with David Hogg.
You know what's funny is I was looking over a couple of the print articles regarding the DNC committee meeting there where they elected their leadership, and at least two that I saw actually noticed. They said there aren't very many white males there, straight white males there.
Mm-hmm.
They said basically the demo that broke to Donald Trump overall, that was, let's just say, underrepresented, which in the leftist thinking is probably like, good. That's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, it's like, do you realize why you got your butts kicked?
Yeah, they don't. They still don't.
And for those on the left, or even a lot of, listen, there are those across the spectrum who like and don't like Donald Trump. You know, I get it.
Yeah.
But there are people on the left in particular who are like, how could they elect him? And it's like, did you see who you ran? have you seen how nuts you are? If you think David Hogg is going to be the one who's going to reconnect you with the male vote,
yeah, that's not it, bro.
So if you're a Republican, and I'm not even talking conservative or MAGA or whatever, if you're just Republican, you've got to be really excited.
Oh, yes.
That they have elected David Hogg to be one of their 4 vice chairs.
I'm excited by this.
Oh my goodness.
Because it means exactly what we said it does, that they don't know why they lost.
Yeah.
So they're going to triple down on all of the failed ideas, the failed messaging, and the failed policies that got their butts kicked to begin with. So I'm actually hopeful that this may be one of the rare instances where a midterm election doesn't flip a legislature.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
actually
right, because midterms tend to go against the party in power.
I'm actually hopeful that we maintain the government for the entire 4 years of this administration. I think that's actually possible, given how nuts they're going. Now it depends on how nuts they're staying, I guess. And now it'll depend on how good the performance is of the government. We talked about this. Those first 100 days are crucial. But if it works out the kind of the way we're anticipating, and some of these things start coming back, and the country gets a little more hopeful, it's entirely possible that we could maintain the full control for the full 4 years.
Yeah. You know, I kind of paid attention a little bit to some of the DNC convention stuff over the weekend, and my first thought that stuck with me the whole weekend was, these guys have actually dived into the pool of irrelevancy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They are just totally irrelevant. Like you said, Gabe, they don't seem to understand exactly what happened on November 5th.
Nope. They have no idea.
No clue whatsoever. And they can look at just the White House. Look at the Senate.
Yeah.
Look at what happened in the state legislatures around the country.
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't gain ground anywhere.
Nope.
But instead of self-reflecting to go, maybe it's us.
They didn't lose every demographic, but they lost in every demographic.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
there was, we mentioned the red shift. Every single demographic shifted red. Now it was slight in some instances, it was big in others. It was a winner in several, but it's enough to say to me, if I'm on Team Blue, we're doing something wrong for everyone.
Yeah, maybe we're wrong, or maybe we're focusing on the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you see movement to the Republican side in the boroughs of New York, which you would know about, Gabe, and for me,
gosh, man,
to see it in Cook County, to see the leaning that happened, I was both astonished and thrilled, and like you said, hopefully these next 4 years, the Republican Party will be able to strengthen the hold that they have.
Silicon Valley moved a little bit more red.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the land of fruits and nuts.
So that also means, though, at the same time, that it's upon us to make sure that the red is conservative.
Yes, absolutely.
And free market.
That's something I really want to talk about with
Right.
Jennifer.
Yeah. So we're going to talk to new Missouri Republican Party Vice Chair Jen Bukowsky at 7:35. But let's bring you up to date on what happened at this weekend's Republican meeting.
8:35, by the way, with Jennifer.
8:35 with Jennifer. But here at around 7:22, let's go over what happened. There's new leadership of the Missouri Republican Party. Is Peter Kinder going to be the one to lead the party in that conservative direction? There was a lot of debate over that. We'll talk about that just ahead.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Colombo and Company.
On Monday, we'll get you the latest on Trump confirmations, plus Virginia Cruda from the Daily Wire joins us at 2:20, and AI expert Mike McCleary at 3:05.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Are you sitting on hidden treasure? Manchester Coin and Jewelry wants to turn your valuables into cash. We're Missouri's premier gold buyers and jewelry specialists with years of expertise. We offer top dollar for your coins, antiques, precious metals, and collectibles. From gold and silver to clocks and jewelry, we buy it all. Don't let your treasures collect dust. Let Manchester Coin and Jewelry give you the best value. Visit online at buyingvaluables.net or come see him today at 141 in Manchester and tell him News Talk STL sent you.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Hey O'Fallon, it's Lauren from Dirty Dan's Pizza and Wings, your women-owned, locally operated slice of heaven. We're serving up the best pizza and wings in town, made with the freshest ingredients and a whole lot of love. Check out our mouth-watering menu and daily specials. Dine in or carry out, the choice is yours. Join our loyalty program at dirty-dans.com for extra perks and mention News Talk STL for $5 off purchases $25 or more weekdays from 11 to 3. Dirty Dan's Pizza and Wings, where every bite is a local delight.
Hey, Colombo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Live and local.
Well, here's what's on my mind. I think I got the solution to immigration.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Hey, it's Vic and Ken. We're on 9 to 11 every Monday through Friday on News Talk STL. Kenny, how are you?
I'm good.
You know, you got to be some kind of weirdo to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do radio.
Believe me.
And that weirdo is Mike Ferguson in the morning show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh.
So long ago, I don't remember when.
Missouri Republican Party elects new leadership, but there was a lot of debate. I thought this was going to be kind of an open and shut, take the vote procedural. Everybody knew it was going to happen. It didn't really turn out that way. So does that say anything about the state of the party? We talk a lot about what's happening with the legislature and our frustration that big red things,
right?
To coin Gabe's term here. I use it, but I want to make sure you get credit for it.
Oh, thank you.
Big red things not getting done. They get talked about a lot, but not getting done. Well, the Missouri Republican Party itself obviously has a direct relationship and puts a lot of pressure on those lawmakers. So what should we take from that debate and fairly close vote over chair? Let's talk about that here in just a minute. It is 7:22. By the way, coming up in about 12 minutes or so, the one and only Larry Connors has some commentary. He says 2 things that never meet: common sense and Whoopi Goldberg. Yep. And then, of course, right after that is the world premiere of the new News Talk STL song Down in Guantanamo, 7:35. This is completely made in-house here. This isn't, we didn't just subscribe to one of those comedy services and rip it off there. We did this in-house.
Yep.
So you want to check that out. Let everybody know that there's a brand new song going to be premiered. How often is a new song premiered on a talk station?
Almost never, I would imagine.
Pretty much never.
Yeah.
This has got to be a first. I mean,
hope so.
we're gonna have somebody check the history books here to
That's
make sure.
right.
This is a trailblazing event.
Yeah, seriously.
So here between now and, obviously 7:35, hit share, or take the Rumble link or the YouTube link or whatever, and just put it in your social media. Say, all right, guys, 7:35 Central. New song debuts, never heard before, world premiere.
Yes.
I'm very excited about this. And then I want to know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so Missouri Republican Party elects new leaders this weekend. In the race for chair, former Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder was elected to be the new chair of the state party. Now, that didn't surprise me.
Sure.
I got a text from I wasn't at the meeting, and I got a text saying it was 36-32.
That's the part that surprised me.
Really surprised me. Bill Eigel got 32 votes, and we just talked to Bill at 6:35, where he announced on the show that he's now running for a county executive in St. Charles County. But listen, Peter Kinder's a conservative. Peter Kinder was the lone Republican at a time when the Democrats were about to lose power. When in the statewide offices, he became the spokesman for not just the Republicans but the conservatives. So, in his time in the Senate, where their corporate welfare votes and stuff, yeah, there were some things I disagreed with Peter on.
Sure.
But once he became the de facto leader as the highest ranking elected Republican in Missouri, he really became that conservative, no apologies spokesperson long before it was cool.
Right.
So Peter Kinder, I'm very comfortable with being a conservative leader of the Missouri Republican Party. I don't think that the fact that the vote was that close is a reflection on Peter Kinder.
Right. It's less that and more a reflection on how well everyone thinks of Bill Eigel.
Yeah, I think there's an aspect of a movement within the Missouri Republican Party. Because had nobody else run, or some county chair somewhere put their name in the hat, and Peter Kinder's elected, I don't think anybody's complaining.
No, not at all.
I did see a little bit of social media traffic of people complaining about the establishment. Well,
Sure.
Peter Kinder's been out of office long enough. I don't know that he's really the establishment.
I don't think he counts as
But
establishment.
Peter's pretty conservative. Okay. So if you go in and your choices are Bill Eigel and Peter Kinder, I don't think you necessarily have a bad choice.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those situations we've had before where, you kind of have an abundance of choice. And you're
Right.
like, oh yeah, this is all good.
Yeah. And then Peter wins, but it was so narrow. That's got to reflect part of the movement that's happening within the party. Not just to be more conservative, but to reiterate to the lawmakers, the Republican Party should be a conservative party, because you've got that aspect of it. And then frankly, parts of MAGA trying to pull, into the more populist direction. So you've got a big discussion on what is the future of the Missouri Republican Party going to be. The Republican Party is going to maintain control for a long time in this state.
Yes.
Probably decades. So it's up to the Republican Party to decide whether it is a unified conservative party, or whether you want to go the route that other states like Kansas have taken, where you fracture into moderates and conservatives, and then you water down the conservatives and give the left more leverage.
The shape of the Republican Party is going to be decided in the next few years, and then that shape is what's going to determine the fate of the state for decades to come.
Yeah, exactly. Because the Democrats, I mean, let's be really honest, are just irrelevant in Jefferson City. Their only relevance that they would have is whatever the Republicans allow them to have, and they're not going to allow them to have any if they stay unified. So our job, and the job of Peter Kinder, and the job of new vice chair Jen Bukowsky, who's going to be with us in about 1 hour at 8:35, their job is, in my mind, to keep them focused and driven on a free market, limited government conservatism, Reagan-style conservatism that allows the state to flourish, allows maximum individual opportunity, basically allows the state to be a freedom-based state, and look at the success that states like that have had in Florida and Texas and places like that.
And focus on the things that the Republican Party can do well to set the environment for all those positive things to flourish.
And to never be afraid to say, that's not government's job.
Yeah,
you figure it out.
Say no. Yeah, when somebody says there ought to be a law, to say no.
That's right.
You got to be unafraid to do that.
Exactly. So I think Peter Kinder is going to be a good chair. Let's hope that he is still connected with the conservative base, and he's not going to be an establishment leader. I just, my gut tells me I don't think he will. Jim Bukowsky is going to be absolutely an uncompromising voice of kind of conservative conscience in there, and she's very pro-Trump as well. But what I like about Jennifer Bukowsky, and I've known Jennifer for years, is that libertarian, small little libertarian streak that she's got in her. So we're going to talk to her. What the leadership does, they're going to make their own term, whatever it turns out to, whatever success or failure they're going to have, obviously is up to them. But I think it's important that they set the right tone and set the right platform that puts the pressure on the state lawmakers to move in that free market conservative direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how well will they do it? Well, we're going to find out. All right. Here's what's about to happen. We've got Larry Connor's commentary coming your way here in just a minute or so. Two things that never meet: common sense and Whoopi Goldberg. We'll hear about that.
Parallel lines.
That's right. And then that's right. And then, of course, the world premiere of the first ever News Talk STL song.
So excited.
Brought to you by Mike Ferguson in the morning, down in Guantanamo, coming your way in just about 4.5 minutes here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Tell your friends and social media followers to tune in right now. They don't want to miss this.
So long ago, I don't remember when. That's when they say I lost my only friend.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A marvelous Monday forecast for you today with a spring preview underway. My forecast high today is 72, and that's just 3 degrees shy of today's record high of 75, set 135 years ago in 1890. Wow. But the unseasonably warm weather won't last. A dry cold front moves through late this afternoon and this evening. Some clouds behind it tonight, down to 36 for the low. And from 72 today to 47 for the high tomorrow. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
St. Louis Pizza and Wings is your local family-owned restaurant on Telegraph Road.
We've got mouth-watering pizza, pasta, wings, burgers, and sandwiches. Even a pet menu for your furry friend.
Incredible weekly specials, dine-in or carry-out, online ordering at stlpw.com. At our wings,
absolutely legendary. Mention Newstalk STL and get $5 off your $30 order.
Visit stlpw.com. St. Louis Pizza and Wings.
Endless choices, guaranteed satisfaction.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers. Valentine's is coming, and Vincent's has lab-grown diamonds. Give the gift that outlasts flowers, chocolates, or dinner. VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
If you know what common sense is, raise your hand. Not so fast there, Whoopi. Last week, Whoopi Goldberg told her fellow ladies on The View the new White House press secretary got her job because of wokeness. What? She is young, 27, female, white, but proving to be much better than KJP. And remember, Biden praised her as the first lesbian black press secretary. So she got her job because of wokeness. But Whoopi said wokeness got black people into colleges, got women into colleges. Whoopi, all of that happened decades before woke was a term created by leftists decades ago. Back in the 1700s, French philosopher Voltaire stated, Whoopi, you are an idiot. Well, maybe Voltaire didn't use those exact words, but they represent what he did say. Whoopee, common sense is not so common.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
My sponsor, Wellington Environmental, has helped thousands deal with hazardous materials. Hospitals, offices, schools, even homes. Here's something new. Wellington now offers dustless blasting. This is just like sandblasting, but without all the dust and emissions. Wellington uses everything from ground glass, walnuts, corn, even dry ice pellets. One university had Wellington remove their parking lot striping because dustless blasting is fast and it does not damage the concrete. So as a business or homeowner, I'm sure you could use this process. Industrial tanks, swimming pools, graffiti on buildings. And in fact, Wellington is blasting a Texaco station that will be revised as an historic building. Check the website for details and photos. WellingtonSTL.com. WellingtonSTL.com.
Sievers JCB, a trusted leader in agriculture and construction. Connect with SieversJCB.com and browse their inventory or stop by and let them show you the capabilities of the JCB lineup. Telebooms, skid steers, loaders, forklifts, excavators, backhoes, and more. JCB has pushed diesel to its limits with machines that now emit 50% less CO2. JCB's new Icon software system will blow your mind, offering iConfigure, iConnect, and iControl. Learn more at SieversJCB.com.
Here he is, Jason Aldean! News Talk STL has your chance to win tickets to see Jason Aldean. July 19th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Register now at newstalkstl.com.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, we're about to have the world premiere of our first ever exclusive News Talk STL song. We're hyping this up like crazy, so I'm putting a lot of pressure on this.
Yep.
Get ready, friends.
Yeah, I hope the band's ready.
Last chance. Please hit that share or repost and say, all right, everybody, check this out. New song about to happen. Speaking of songs and music here, Jason Aldean coming to the amphitheater July 19th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. You can win tickets to see three-time Entertainer of the Year Jason Aldean. He's bringing his Full Throttle Tour 2025 tour powered by Patriot Mobile to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater on Saturday, July 19th, 2025. We happen to have some tickets, and we are willing to give them to you. So go to newstalkstl.com, and you can get registered and win and go see that show. All right, real quick here. President Donald Trump, of course, signing a memo to send some of the migrants, some of the illegal immigrants to Guantanamo Bay. Matter of fact, Border Czar Tom Homan being asked about that again this past weekend. He says he supports that move on Fox News Channel's Sunday Morning Futures. Here's what he had to say.
We got a facility there. We're going to expand it a lot and hold the worst of the worst over there. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And the beds are much cheaper over there. So, look, President Trump's about efficiency. It's about getting the bad guys out.
And, of course, those on the left, opponents, really don't like the fact that we're talking about sending the most violent illegal aliens to Guantanamo Bay, saying it's like torture. It's really bad out there, and we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, whatever. I'm excited about it. I think it's awesome. I think somebody should write a song about it.
And I think somebody did. I don't have a name for the band, so if there's a band name, send it to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's go ahead and do this. Donald Trump's decision to send the worst of the worst to Guantanamo Bay has inspired art. Here we go. Without further ado, here is the News Talk STL world premiere of Down in Guantanamo.
Arrested down in Texas, caught sneaking through the fences. Border Patrol detected, now you're gonna get collected. No papers, no visas, caught smuggling some cheese. You're taking a vacation down to legal damnation. Oh, Guantanamo, where Trump says you gotta go. No sneaking past the Rio, straight to a cell you go. Down to Guantanamo, won't see no Mexico. No amnesty, just wait and see. You'll be stuck indefinitely. Oh no, Guantanamo, no mojitos, just mosquitoes. No more free tacos, you're in lockup. Whoa, down in Guantanamo. They tried to claim asylum, but Trump said, nah, deny them. No lawyers gonna try them. Straight to the bay we fly them. No beach, no margaritas, just orange suits and bleakness. Hope you like the sunshine, cause you'll be here a long time. Oh, Guantanamo, where Trump says you gotta go. No sneaking past the Rio, straight to a cell you go. Down to Guantanamo, won't see no Mexico. No amnesty, just wait and see. You'll be stuck indefinitely. Oh no, Guantanamo, no mojitos, just mosquitoes. No more free tacos, you're in lockup. Whoa, down in Guantanamo. They tried to claim asylum, but Trump said, nah, deny them. No lawyers gonna try them. Straight to the bay we fly them. No beach, no margaritas, just orange suits and bleakness. Hope you like the sunshine, cause you'll be here a long time. Oh, Guantanamo, where Trump says you gotta go. No sneaking past the Rio, straight to a cell you go. Down to Guantanamo, won't see no Mexico. No amnesty, just wait and see. You'll be stuck indefinitely. Oh no, Guantanamo, no mojitos, just mosquitoes. No more free tacos, you're in lockup. Whoa, down in Guantanamo.
And yes, that's going to be up on social media a little bit later on today somehow. So far, the reaction has been pretty good. There you go. The world premiere of Down in Guantanamo.
We need a name for that
We
band.
need a name for the band.
Yes.
All right.
So
All right.
We'll take your suggestions.
Let's go ahead and follow that up here. Now joined by Congressman Bob Onder. Bob, really appreciate you being on, especially letting us, play the world premiere of our new News Talk STL song, Down in Guantanamo. Let me start with that right there. Obviously, with the illegal immigration and the decision to say, let's take the worst of the worst, take them in Guantanamo. I mean, we know that can hold bad guys for a really, really long time. And we've got people on the left who are saying, but that's too mean. Don't do that. Kind of assess the success of Trump's illegal alien crackdown so far.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Great to be back. That song's hilarious. I think the crackdown has been incredibly successful. Over the weekend, Kristi Noem, the new director of Homeland Security, mentioned that border crossing attempts were down 95%, and we're seeing ICE rounding up illegal aliens all over the country. I've always said that there are really two big things in securing the border. Number one, of course, is physically securing the border, preventing border crossings. The second is to remove the magnets for illegal immigration. And I think for the last 4 years under Biden-Harris, it's been clear that we not only were we not securing the border, we were rolling out a red carpet for illegal aliens, including some of the worst, with the promise that, wink, wink, nod, nod, we'll pretend you're here awaiting your asylum application, but with the long-term plan being amnesty, citizenship, and then the right to vote. So it's very clear to the whole world that there's a new sheriff in town. That's not going to happen under Donald Trump. That's not going to happen under a Republican Congress. And again, Donald Trump's number one campaign promise, he's following through, and so far has been extraordinarily successful.
Now, I know a lot of the public is really on board with the crackdown on illegals, and this crosses multiple demographics. A lot of people are really glad for that. But one of the tactics Trump is using to sort of enforce border security is the tariff fight that he's kind of started with the Canadians and the Mexicans in particular. I mean, the Chinese on some level, but that one is garnering a little bit of a mixed review. What do you make of the use of tariffs as part of the border fight?
Yeah, so tariffs can be expensive. Tariffs are taxes in a sense, but I think Donald Trump knows what he's doing. Just like a couple of weeks ago, when Colombia was turning back, a plane load of illegal aliens being repatriated to Colombia. Colombia backed down. So I think here Trump is using these tariffs as a mechanism of foreign policy to secure our borders and to fight the scourge of fentanyl, which has claimed 100,000 American lives in the last year. And I think it will work. The United States has the largest economy in the world. China is also a very large economy, but is much more dependent on exports than the United States is. And really Canada and Mexico are dramatically more dependent on exports than the United States. So ultimately, the author of The Art of the Deal, I think, will end up making some good deals, and the tariffs will be short term, and I think it will be a successful tactic.
All right, if these are still in place come next Monday, I know I'm going to have a lot more in-depth questions on that. We're visiting with Congressman Bob Onder. Bob, since, and I had forgotten this when the tragedy happened in Washington, D.C., you're a pilot. In addition, and I had forgotten that. You told me that years ago. I'd forgotten that. Obviously, you fly into DC all the time. We've got an investigation into what happened in that tragedy that claimed 67 lives. But we're now finding out that there were other near misses recently at that airport as well. What does that tell us about the state of our air traffic control? Because this is not a Republican or a Democratic thing.
Yeah.
This is something that's administrative, and this is something that's just one of those things that the federal government is supposed to, provide a safe environment on that. What needs to be looked into once we figure out exactly what caused or led to or allowed that crash? What needs to be addressed to make sure that we minimize the possibility of these types of tragedies happening?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in addition to being a pilot myself, I want to say that compared to the pilots involved in that tragedy, I have relatively little experience. I have about 700 hours. I am instrument rated, but I don't do it for a living. But I will say that yes, the history of near misses in our aviation system in general, but especially there at Reagan National, is really alarming. We have learned that in the week before that tragedy last Wednesday, 2 times in 1 week, landing jets had to, quote, go around to avoid helicopters, or because they thought they were uncomfortably close to helicopters. Going around means aborting the landing instead of landing as planned. Applying full power and letting the tower know that you're going to be circling or heading out into a holding pattern rather than landing, because landing is not safe. I think I've been flying on airlines for decades, and I don't think I've ever seen a commercial pilot have to go around. I go around all the time because a small airplane can be pushed off course by the wind, and to be safe, you go around. So, really, and the crazy thing too is that helicopter, we know, is supposed to be no higher than 200 feet. It was at 350 feet. But even, a landing plane and a helicopter 150 feet apart, that's to me a near miss even if the helicopter was lower. So, look, our military aircraft, our Army, our Air Force, our Marine helicopter pilots, they have to train, of course, but in the airspace of Reagan National Airport and the landing pattern of Reagan National Airport, I think we've really got to look at safety and how to balance the interests of military training and the safety of commercial aviation, which has been incredibly good. We went 12 years without a commercial aviation fatality, but this was just inexcusable.
Yep. All right, Congressman Bob Onder, great chat with you again. I'm going to have, of course, once we see what's going on with these tariffs, I can expect that we'll be asking a lot about that next week, probably.
Yeah, I think it's early. I don't think we know all the details, but yeah, it will be interesting. Yeah, thank you.
And it may be over by then too. So somebody may back down by then. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We hope.
All right, Congressman Bob Onder, thanks for checking in. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, guys.
All right, getting great reaction off of the Down in Guantanamo so far.
Yeah, that's a solid
song, man.
And the guitar solo,
the breakdown was awesome.
That was
the
solid.
solo. It was
still
good.
good.
It was good stuff. All right, coming up on 7:50 on a Monday, and so we got a new thing that we've been bringing to you on Mondays. That is Tell Me Something Good.
Yes, need a little good news in your life.
We need some good
Monday
news.
morning.
That's right. Coming up right on 7:51.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Chris Arts here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. And of course, for dessert, I get a giant chocolate chip cookie. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at intervine.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Are you a St. Louis small business owner looking to boost your brand? Blue Ocean Media Group offers affordable video production that packs a punch. From social media content to branded promotional clips, we'll help you stand out in the digital crowd. Professional quality, small business prices. Let's tell your story together. Learn more at blueomg.com. That's blueomg.com. Blue Ocean Media. Big impact videos for small business budgets.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Well, I wonder what it's like to be the rainmaker. I wonder what it's like to know that I made the rain.
All right, we're getting a reaction to that song. I think people are giving us the thumbs up on that.
Oh, good. I'm glad because I really like that song.
Somehow we're going to have that up on social media here in a little bit.
We'll figure it out.
But maybe we ought to do it again in about an hour.
I think an encore performance is called
encore
for.
performance there.
That's called for.
All right, so that's some good news right there.
Yeah,
but good news is a theme on Mondays around here, right, Gabe?
Absolutely. Let's get to it still.
Tell me something good.
A man was recently reunited with his beloved Pooch Damien after 8 years of separation.
Wow.
Okay, so the story begins in 2017 when Paul Gilbolt and his family were moving from Massachusetts to Arizona. At a rest stop in Oklahoma, his miniature pinscher, Damien, got spooked, jumped off his leash, and disappeared into the Oklahoma wilderness. So 8 years went by, and while Gilbolt was driving to L.A. to donate clothes to victims of the recent wildfires, was a great thing, he got the text of a lifetime. A woman in Oklahoma had picked up Damien and scanned him for a chip, which immediately alerted him.
So was he living like wild?
He was just living wild.
Wow.
Yeah, just running wild in Oklahoma for 8 years as a basically a feral dog. Quote, my Apple Watch gave me a little preview and it said, your dog Damien has been found, he recalled. 8 years later. So Gilbolt and Damien have been making up for lost time, going to the park every day, with the former keeping a close eye on his owner to make sure there is no more separation.
I love those stories.
I love those stories too. A new study shows a general anesthetic to have big potential in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's disease is believed to be caused by the buildup of toxic proteins in the brain, right? So a recent study in mice found that xenon gas stimulated the brain's resident immune system, which can clear out those pesky toxins, leading to reduced neuroinflammation and minimize brain atrophy. So the good news is that if this effect tests out in humans, we could be looking at a fairly cheap, simple, and effective treatment to prevent and treat Alzheimer's.
I have had multiple people between my side of the family and Rachel's side of the family have different versions, dementia, Alzheimer's. My grandmother had Alzheimer's. It is such a cruel disease.
Yeah, it is. So any breakthroughs, any positive things that we can get on that is really awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me something good.
Two friends miraculously found their car keys minutes after they'd watched them get washed away by the ocean.
What?
So this is kind of a wild story here. Alicia Kelly and friend Lauren Thompson were at Trig Beach in Perth, Australia, when their phones and keys got swallowed up by a large wave. Okay, so Alicia had managed to retrieve their phones. That's a miracle to begin with.
I don't know how you do that.
Before they were sucked into the sea, but they had given up on ever seeing the car keys again. And then 10 minutes later, while the 27-year-old was making a video describing what just happened, Lauren suddenly spotted the keys floating lightly up the sand just a few feet away, riding another wave. So, yeah.
So the important thing is she got the phone to make a social media video.
She got the phone back.
That's the most important thing.
And the phone works, which is after being in the ocean. But even more so, the keys just kind of showed up on their own.
Wow.
So I'm sure you've had your fair share of bad breaks, but don't forget to enjoy the times when things just fall into place for you.
That's amazing, because usually you drop something or lose it in the ocean.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's done.
It is sucked out towards the rest of the world. The fact
forever
that there was some sort of thing that pushed it up to the sand, that's amazing.
It's really awesome.
Tell me something good.
To help you plan to have a good week, Tuesday is Thank a Mail Carrier Day. So you should actually help your mail carrier have a good week by thanking them. Now that's assuming that they actually deliver the mail.
I was gonna say,
maybe not your mail carrier.
Yeah, we would thank them if we ever saw them.
Exactly.
We occasionally see them.
Our mail carrier out in Florissant is really great. We love him. Wednesday is National Shower with a Friend Day. I'm just going to leave that right there.
I'm curious as to who decided that needed to be a national day. Listen, here's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm opposed.
Yeah, right.
Just saying.
Yeah, just say it. Hey, it could be your dog.
Pick your, just pick your friends accordingly.
It could be Damien. You could be showering with
That's
your
right,
dog,
little
Damien.
dog Damien.
All right. Thursday is Froyo Day. Frozen yogurt.
Oh yeah,
I'm loving that.
I do like Froyo.
Yep. Friday is National Bubblegum Day. Which,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, what was the last time you actually had a piece of bubblegum?
Oh, years.
Right?
I don't remember the last time when I was a kid.
Did you get bubblegum with your baseball cards?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the thing is about the gum with the baseball cards is that it's like crunchy as cardboard.
Yes.
Oh, it's like 20 years old.
Yeah, and it's delicious for 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds.
And then it's like, get this piece of tire out of my mouth.
Yes, and then its sole purpose is to connect said card to something else.
That's right.
So anyway, and today of all days, it is in celebration of National Carrot Cake Day.
Oh,
be sure to get yourself a delicious slice. Since it's made with carrot, it's technically a vegetable. So the calories don't count.
There you go. It's health food, basically.
You're welcome.
Complete and utter health food.
I love it.
All right, we've got Missouri Republican Vice Chair Jennifer Bukowsky is going to be with us at 8:35. What's the future of the Missouri Republican Party look like? Because this is the party structure. This isn't the actual legislature, but one has a big influence on the other. What were Missouri Republicans saying when they picked their current team, their new team?
Yeah.
So we're going to do that around 8:35. Of course, we got a lot to bring you up to date on right around 8:05 with our next news dump. And yes, be looking for that song, News Talk STL exclusive, Down in Guantanamo.
Yes, we're gonna have to make that.
We're gonna have
somehow,
something up there. It's gonna
Yes.
be shareable, but we may just replay it before the end of the program.
Encore presentation.
Yeah, encore presentation. That would be good.
Agree
I think conservatives have it wrong.
or disagree.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The conversation happens here.
I agree with you on Trump. I'm shaking my head. I'm one of your liberal Democratic listeners, and I don't get why any of this even matters.
Because your voice matters.
Everybody told him he couldn't do it, and then he did do it. That's what you got to do. You got to play hardball.
I want to hear what people think and be able to talk about it.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Larry Connors here, and I'm heading to southern Italy for a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. I want you to join me. We'll travel for 11 magical days with professionals from Conservative Tours. They're the best tour operators in Italy. Conservative Tours, an A+ rating with the BBB. $54.88 is your cost. That includes airfare from St. Louis, luxury hotels, dining events you'll remember for years. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativestours.com. Join me next spring in Italy on the Isle of Capri, just $54.88, including airfare from St. Louis. 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com.
News Talk STL.
Have you dreamt of a career as a police officer but thought your beard was holding you back? I'm Officer John Van Gordon, recruiter for the Springfield, Missouri Police Department. We've made some recent policy changes so you can still pursue your dream or serve your community even with your beard. We welcome you to apply for the academy starting soon. You're a difference maker and a leader, and that's what we're looking for. To learn more, visit gospd.com. That's gospd.com.
Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump admits Americans may be impacted negatively by tariffs as the targeted trading partners retaliate.
President Trump is defending the imposition of tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China starting tomorrow.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that. But long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
He's also claiming Canada would cease to exist without its trade surplus with the U.S.
To be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that. We're going to change it fast.
China has reiterated its threat to take what it calls necessary countermeasures to defend its legitimate rights and interests. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Two top security officials at USAID have been sidelined by the Trump administration after trying to block access to Elon Musk and his government efficiency staff.
The two security chiefs are among nearly 100 employees at the U.S. Agency for International Development who have been put on leave. Both President Trump and Elon Musk are critical of the agency, which is the world's largest donor of humanitarian aid. Musk claimed on X that USAID is evil and criminal, and the president claimed it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics. Congressional Democrats said the changes appear to violate U.S. laws. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Vice President Vance, EPA Administrator Zeldin due to visit East Palestine, Ohio today, second anniversary of the toxic train wreck that devastated the small town and surrounding areas. New lawsuit's been filed containing the first 7 wrongful death claims against Norfolk Southern, including the death of a 1-week-old baby. The vice president represented East Palestine as a U.S. senator. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures are sharply lower. Dow futures down 627. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A marvelous Monday forecast for you today with a spring preview underway. My forecast high today is 72, and that's just 3 degrees shy of today's record high of 75, set 135 years ago in 1890. Wow. But the unseasonably warm weather won't last. A dry cold front moves through late this afternoon and this evening. Some clouds behind it tonight, down to 36 for the low. And from 72 today to 47 for the high tomorrow. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Stumped on the perfect Valentine's gift? We've got you covered. News Talk STL wants to help you paint the town red with your special someone. Enter our Valentine's contest at newstalkstl.com, and you could win an incredible prize package from the area's finest. Don't let Valentine's pass you by. Visit newstalkstl.com to register now. Brought to you by Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, Harry J. Steakhouse, and Papa Bear Popcorn.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, St. Louis.
Will you guys knock it off?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, we're a long way from a final report, but we are getting more information about what was happening at the time of the midair collision in Washington, D.C. I'm glad people are keeping the heat on this because it was so terrible. And I don't think it's even as much as this was a massive tragedy. It is a matter of we've got to make sure that if it was a system failure, that it's corrected, because we all fly, or we all know people who fly constantly.
Right.
So this is a much, much, much bigger picture than even the massive tragedy than was had. Also, hundreds of pro-illegal alien protesters took to the, otherwise empty streets of downtown St. Louis this weekend. So somebody went downtown this weekend. And thank you for all the comments on our new News Talk STL song, Down in Guantanamo.
Yes.
That's going to be posted up on our socials here at some point this morning.
And we may replay it.
We may do that. I got a little bit
here.
of time around 8:50.
Okay.
We may be able to redo that right there.
Still looking for a band name also.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Because we may rely on the band for other songs in the future. So, all right. 8:06 right now. Let's go and dump some news on you here.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The morning news dump.
Even though Corporeal being on Rumble may have been stumbling onto something regarding the band itself. Just going to leave it at that.
No comment.
All right. Speaking of that accident, the Federal Aviation Administration is reporting that only one person was monitoring the air traffic control center during the midair collision between an American Airlines plane and an Army helicopter. So let me put that in a different way. The FAA says there was only one person monitoring air traffic control at Reagan National Airport, in one of the busiest airports in the world at the time of that crash. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was on Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream, and he was talking about the possibility of why there is a staffing shortage with air traffic control centers.
During COVID, there was an issue where they shut down the academies. And then when the academies reopened, the class sizes were smaller. And then even though our graduates from the academy got out, they couldn't get into a tower to train up. That happened for 2 years. And so we saw a plummet of air traffic controllers.
All right. As of 2023, a report says the air traffic control tower at Reagan National Airport had been understaffed for years, and that as of 2023, they only had 19 fully certified controllers. 19. Now, I don't know what that means for 2024 or right now, but it wasn't that. It was just as busy in 2023, or probably, well, no, it's probably busier now because now they've reopened the world.
Right. Yeah. So the fact that there was only one on duty at the time is horrific. That's terrible to me. And yeah, I remember there being discussions about a dwindling number of available air traffic controllers a long time ago, and this was part of the discussion about automating portions of air traffic control and things like that, but we're not there yet. And in the meantime, we still need people, we still need humans in the loop, and one on duty at the time at
an airport that size,
and that busy is wild to me.
Wow. All right. President Trump, and we just talked to Congressman Bob Onder about this. President Trump says his newly announced tariffs could cause, his words, some pain for Americans.
With tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China taking effect this week, the emerging trade war could lead to higher prices. The president admitted that Americans could feel some pain in the short term, but he claimed it will all be worth the price that must be paid. He repeatedly bashed Joe Biden for high inflation. And now the Trump tariffs threaten to raise the price of cars, gasoline, clothes, toys, and avocados. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And it's not a matter of they might raise prices. If this goes on a long time, they will raise prices. And so then what the administration has to sell is, it's okay, you're getting pinched, but it'll be worth it. And that's the message he's going to have to try to sell. This has been one of my biggest disagreements with President Trump last term that he was in, and this one. Tariffs are taxes on us. They get paid by us.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely a tax. Now, if he can balance that by reducing other taxes, I'm fine.
Sure.
Yeah. If we go to no income tax but full tariffs as our means of government money, that would be a win for.
Yeah, and
for
his
us.
claim that we can pay for the entire federal government with taxes is just nonsense. But if you can offset what you're charging me in other taxes and keep it the same, okay. I mean, if I have a tax decrease, I just want to keep more money in my pocket. I just don't want to send it somewhere else. But that would be at least acceptable, I think, because we're talking about 25% tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada, 10% on goods from China. And the move, according to the president, is meant to force those nations to crack down on illegal immigration and drug smuggling. Senator Eric Schmidt was talking about that on NBC's Meet the Press.
Bring Canada and Mexico to the table for the fentanyl that is streaming into our communities. It's also worth noting in the last 4 years that the trade imbalance and our trade deficit has gone up 200+% with Canada and up 52% with Mexico. The fact is, these countries are taking advantage of us all along the while. We've got fentanyl streaming into our country.
Yeah. Okay, so both Canada and Mexico have announced retaliatory tariffs, and China's foreign ministry has said that they are going to impose some on them, on our output to China, which isn't anywhere near close to the trade that comes from China to the U.S.
Yeah, we'll see how long this battle lasts. I mean, the one with Colombia lasted what, 24 hours, less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
These guys obviously have a little more pull. They're going to be able to last a little longer, but I doubt it's going to be very long.
The longer this goes, the more your life's about to get expensive. More expensive.
I find it interesting
just to let you know.
His whole tariff concept goes back to McKinley, because before the Federal Reserve was set up in 1913, tariffs took care of pretty much the expenses of the country. But then the Federal Reserve showed up and things changed a lot.
And the other variable is the federal government only did the few things that the Constitution
That they were supposed to do.
allowed it to do. We have a federal government that's expanded about 1,000 times over.
Out of control.
So if you had a federal government that was limited to only what the Constitution says, you could probably pay for it with tips.
Yeah, well, USAID's going away, or appears to be.
That's on the chopping block.
So there's a start, I guess, of the reductions. We'll see how it pans out.
When they reduce all these trillions of dollars, I want to see my taxes reduced as well.
Absolutely.
But then
My
again,
goodness.
we've got this debt that both Republicans and Democrats have run up to trillions of dollars as well. All right, pro-illegal alien protesters marched around downtown St. Louis over the weekend. Channel 2 is estimating about 1,000 protesters spoke up against the Trump administration's crackdowns on illegals. But the other part of the news story is at least somebody went downtown on the weekend to St. Louis City.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
at least there's that.
What did was it 101 straight up, or somebody in the Rumble chat said something hilarious about this? Like, after screaming your head off,
That's
nothing hits as good as
like a moldy sandwich.
a moldy sandwich from 7-Eleven.
Although hopefully Maggie O'Brien's got some extra.
Oh, there you
business.
go. Maggie O'Brien's might have
I
done
used
something.
to go. Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, Gabe and I would go there.
Yeah,
when we were downtown, we would go over to Maggie O'Brien's every once in a while.
Great
solid
restaurant.
food.
I may or may not have timed it to when the Cardinals were playing day games so that I could take my lunch break and watch the game. All right, then, of course, deportations have ramped up under Donald Trump. ICE is now saying they've made 7,400 arrests, and this is as of yesterday. 7,400 arrests since the inauguration. National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto was on Fox News Channel's Fox News Live and talking about how immigration agents, the people on the front lines, are reacting to the new policies.
They're very happy that there's targeted enforcement going on to get these individuals off the streets.
And the Pentagon is saying they're going to send at least 1,000 more troops to either the border or to Guantanamo Bay to aid with deportation efforts or some sort of combination in the meantime there. Let's see here. We've got Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on his way to the United States. He is going to be meeting with Donald Trump, and this is going to be the first visit with a foreign leader since being sworn in for this term. In a video posted on WhatsApp by Israel's government press office, Netanyahu lays out what he expects to discuss with the president.
In this meeting, we'll deal with important issues, critical issues facing Israel and our region, victory over Hamas, achieving the release of all our hostages, and dealing with the Iranian terror axis and all its components.
That meeting is scheduled to happen tomorrow. All right, a small earthquake happened over the weekend. Yeah,
just a little
one. Yeah, it registered 2.4 on the scale, centered about 7 miles northeast of Festus. Just so you know, because I don't think anybody noticed when it actually happened. 2.4 is like a big rig driving by your house, but technically, you all are earthquake survivors. So just put that on your resume. This happened about 6 p.m. on Saturday. No damage is reported. And I just kind of feel compelled to say, after any earthquake, we will rebuild.
Yay.
By the way, quick note, Cardinals pitchers and catchers report to spring training in 9 days. Rest of the team arrives in Jupiter on the 17th. So we're getting into that happy place where we're talking about spring training and baseball.
One other quick note, by the way,
Yes.
Jimmy Edmonds was let go
I
over
saw
the weekend.
that. Yeah, he's not going to be in the booth, not going to be
Correct.
broadcasting.
He won't be the color guy on TV after 10 years.
Man, are they like that desperate to cut salary that they're even getting rid of the guy who doesn't play anymore?
Boy,
that's rough. That is rough. Man.
You know what the funny thing is, when something like that happens, I'm sure you guys have had this happen too. All of a sudden I get a bunch of people asking me, so what happened? You know, oh, did you find out what the reason was? I don't work. We don't work at KMOX or with Bud Sports or whoever's involved
FanDuel
with
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, no.
No,
I
I don't know.
I don't think there was a comment from either side through yesterday, so I don't know if anybody's said anything today so far.
But just in case Jim is listening, now that he doesn't have something to do over the summer, my adult baseball team can use an extra hitter.
Oh, baby.
So if you want to suit up, give me a call. Let's get you playing some baseball.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. Jordan Kyrie's third period goal was the difference, and the Blues get the win on the road Sunday night. Final score in Utah was Blues 2, Hockey Club 1. That stopped a 4-game losing streak by the Blues. The Blues return home tomorrow for a game against the Oilers.
Don't try to make me stop. No inspiration. You have a soul so dark, it is no more.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
Fight your war. Stop right now.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
to your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. Wanna do that, dog? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newstetter's not one of those giant, big, sterile, big box stores, is it?
Nope. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is a family-owned local tradition since the 60s. We're a full-service jeweler that does on-site repair as well as custom creations. We don't sell jewelry. We sit and listen to find out exactly what you truly desire in fine jewelry and give you an education so you'll fall in love with your piece for a lifetime.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelers at wowdiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Winter's coming, and your family's comfort can't wait. Johnson Heating and Cooling, where family protects family. Owners Tracy and Sean Johnson don't just install equipment, they safeguard your home. From new construction to existing homes, we're your trusted experts in furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps. Don't risk dangerous gas leaks or unexpected breakdowns. Get your heating system professionally checked now. Call 636-332-4141 or visit johnson-heatingandcooling.com.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
You know, they're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Susie Moore. Check out my show, Red State Radio, Sunday afternoon at 4, right here on News Talk STL. Now it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I was noticing on some of the video streams, Gabe, I guess it was the one of the music awards was last night.
Yeah, the
Grammys last night.
The Grammys, yeah.
And I know that part of this is just now being in my early 50s.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
I've never heard of most of the songs.
Everybody looks weird.
But there was a time when any of those award shows, there was the Grammys, and then there's another one, the music awards. And then there was the MTV Music Awards.
Yes.
But everybody wanted to watch just because you wanted to watch the performances. You want to watch the live music. It was kind of
the VMAs, the Video Music
maybe
Awards?
that was it. Yeah, with MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one. There was the Grammys, and then there was another music one that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of escapism because we could all just watch the different kinds of music and the different performances. And yeah, sure, they were kind of weird. But I got in this morning and looked at the news feed. And I'm like, oh, there was an award show last night.
It actually happened. Yeah,
it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, what happens is you look at all these and like, here's a clip of like either this winner being announced or this person accepting the award or whatever. And
American Music Awards.
So,
and the Billboard.
Oh, wow. I forgot about those.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think iHeart got into that as well.
iHeart did.
And then so I'm looking through these. I'm like, there's a couple of names here I know.
Yeah. I mean, I recognize Beyonce.
Obviously, I know who Beyonce is. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You know, you would remember her from the Kamala Harris campaign, right? But
I think Bruno Mars, I'm familiar with him.
He's a talented guy.
Talented. Yeah.
You know, very talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's all these. I'm thinking, is it just a matter of me being out of that? But no, I mean,
there's more to it.
Up until recently, when Hollywood and the entertainment industry decided to take sides in the culture war, and they lost.
Mm-hmm.
They were winning for a while, but they've lost at this point. I think there's a lot of people that just checked out. I don't know what music sales have done as far as the volume of sales now compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Well,
something.
and the
No
music
idea.
industry is so different now too,
Yeah.
with streaming services.
Record companies
and,
don't
and-
really
and
matter.
videos, everything just being out free on YouTube anyway.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
know.
So it's really different. But you said you were going through some of the like apparently Kanye West brought his wife. I don't know.
Yeah.
She went like on a leash or something. But I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
She was naked.
She was naked.
She
Yeah.
had like this sheer thing over. She was wearing kind of a sheer, like a sarong thing, but it was completely sheer. And when you look at the news photos, they have to like blur out.
Yeah.
A naked woman was just walking around the award show.
Yeah.
Kanye West is such a weirdo.
He's a very
And
strange
what
man.
was you remember a couple years ago, like for a minute, like MAGA was like, he's our guy. And I'm like, don't do that. And then a few minutes
Yep.
later, they're like, no, maybe he's not.
Yep. I mean, he proclaimed his Christianity. He released an entire Christian album, I remember, and then he was talking MAGA stuff. And
then he decides, the black guy decides to go have dinner and hang out, make good friends with a white supremacist.
and then it went right off the rails.
Oh, my
you can't do not adopt every celebrity who says something, at least one thing that you like,
No.
because they're probably going to disappoint you.
Any surprise that Taylor Swift batted 0 for 6? She had 6 nominations.
Oh yeah, Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
I had no idea. I mean, this is true.
Yeah.
I have really no idea. No clue
This is
whatsoever.
not a bit. We just don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I would say she can go cry about it, but she can go cry into her Scrooge McDuck type of
money bin.
money after that massive world tour that she did. She's basically an industry to herself.
Yes, absolutely. Well, but I think to your point, Mike, the reason we don't care anymore is because it got divisive. I mean, music
And they
used to
became
be
condescending and insulting to us.
Music used to be among the areas of our entertainment life in America where people could unite and you can get away from, the types of things that divide us. You know what I mean? Even when there were aspects of society that were still divided along racial lines, a lot of people could unite with the fact, Michael Jackson is a bad MFer when it comes to music.
And back in the early 80s, man, that was
a big deal.
But even you go back to like Motown.
Yeah, Motown. Even those are the things that kind of cross those divides, and it facilitates movement towards unity. And we saw that in music for a long time, but then all of a sudden, like you said, they got condescending. Everything was political. Their speeches weren't about, thank you to my manager and these people and my mama who told me that I could sing when I was 7. All of the things that you expect from an award show speech. Then they got preachy. They said, now that I'm up here and I have the statue, the statue is the tribal version of the speaking stick. I have the speaking stick, so you're going to listen to me, and I'm going to tell you about all the reasons why I'm better than you, because I believe in this, and I support this cause, and you should too.
Apparently, somebody did a big pro-trans thing, and of course everybody starts
I think it was
crying.
Lady Gaga, I think,
and clapping. It's
because her support base is very much in the LGBT stuff, the alphabet mafia.
And I'm like, this is why your side got whooped.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why your side got whooped.
We're tired of it.
We were not just telling Kamala Harris to go away.
Right.
We were telling you all to shut up.
Mm-hmm. Every single one of you.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's there's some pretty good new rock music out there. But I'm not paying attention to that much new stuff coming out of anywhere in the entertainment industry right now, because I've just disconnected from the whole thing, which screws over the few people that just want to make art.
Yes, that's true. That's true. The big mouthy people are the ones who drive a lot of us away from participating in this. You know what? It's so much easier now simply to lean back on the decades of good music that we have in our pockets now. It's like maybe in the 70s it was kind of like, there's only so much good music, so I have to listen. In the 80s, obviously, it was kind of the heyday.
Yeah, I don't think it's controversial to say the best music ever was made between 1983 and 1988. I don't think I think that's just a scientifically backed up statement.
Yeah, there you go. And then the 90s, early 2000s, we were kind of riding a little bit of it was a downward wave a little bit from the 80s to in my view.
I mean, it wasn't quite down in Guantanamo level.
Right, exactly. But there was still some solid music coming through, and we could all kind of unite on it. It wasn't too controversial. It wasn't too much craziness coming across. But then it got so weird. It got weird and gross, and people are running around half naked, worshiping Satan on stage at a grand. Now they're walking around fully naked. And and then their acceptance speeches are these, finger wagging diatribes about the way the rest of us live our lives and how it's horrible. And he's like, why don't you just stop being poor so you can do all the cool things like I do, like drive a Tesla, or not a Tesla anymore because Elon's
because
bad.
they're mad at Elon Musk.
Yeah, so it's just it's crazy to me, and because that's how they lost us. That's how they separated themselves. That's why their influence is gone.
Yeah,
and they didn't. They also, we talked about the DNC electing some
my
weirdos.
Goodness, yeah.
Right, because they don't understand why they lost. The musicians don't understand why they lost either. Why their side is kind of waning right now because they think they still have influence.
Well, and their reaction is still, you're wrong.
Right.
We are going to correct you. And it's like, I don't have to buy your stuff.
Yeah. I got to speak truth to power.
Yeah. Well,
I have a platform.
Hey, you got free speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want. And then the fact of the matter is that a lot of people, nearly half this country, is going, oh, wait, you guys had a party last night? Oh, okay. I'm fine. Nobody cares.
Yeah. We see, and I think
Beyonce wins an award. Okay. We've heard that before.
Another one. Streaming, I think, has also kind of hit them hard too, because it used to be you sit down, you watch TV, and whatever's on TV after you click through the 12 channels that there were, you settle on that.
Yeah.
For a while there, the Grammys, if they were as a big Grammy night, all the other channels just stopped their programming. You said he was like, oh, I'm just going to run.
There's no
the Grammys are on. There's whatever. Now I can watch whatever the heck I want.
And like and when it comes to the music, people are very targeted in what they buy. If I ever learn how to use the iTunes thing, then that's what I'll do, is I'll buy it just specifically for that. Otherwise, I got to hand it to my daughter and say, find these songs for me and put them on there because I haven't figured it out yet. I know. That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
I've got my one playlist that I play on the way to my baseball games. It's my pump me up, hype me up list. I listen to those songs, and then I'm ready mentally when I get to the baseball game, when I play out there. But yeah, I mean, even like in the movie awards, I mean, music, at least you have the performances, because that's what I would watch for.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to watch even the kind of music I didn't care for. I wanted to watch it. It was kind of cool.
It's like having a camera at a concert. And if you're a concert goer, if you like seeing live performances, it was a showcase. It's like, this is the pinnacle of music at this year, right? So that's kind of what the Grammys was, and some of those performances were amazing.
Oh yeah,
some of the joint performances where they get two people who've never done anything and they throw them on stage together and they collabo live in front of your face. That was kind of awesome.
Yeah,
but now it's just like, I don't know who that is. I don't know why they're worshiping a temple in Babylon, and then they're going to get on stage and yell at me for living my life as a normal human being.
When there isn't a single normal human being involved in those things whatsoever.
Not at all.
Yeah. All right. What's next for the Missouri Republican Party? They've elected new leadership. The new vice chair, Jennifer Bukowsky, going to be with us right around 8:35. Once we have that conversation with Jen, by the way, if you have any questions for Jen, send them to us on social media. Secondly, you know what? We might have time to do an encore performance of Down in Guantanamo, the exclusive new song from News Talk STL.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A marvelous Monday forecast for you today with a spring preview underway. My forecast high today is 72, and that's just 3 degrees shy of today's record high of 75, set 135 years ago in 1890. Wow. But the unseasonably warm weather won't last. A dry cold front moves through late this afternoon and this evening. Some clouds behind it tonight, down to 36 for the low. And from 72 today to 47 for the high tomorrow. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Fox News commentary.
The left overplayed its hand with DEI, but now the right runs the same risk. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
So the left got DEI drunk in 2020. After the death of George Floyd, the sudden cure-all for racism became open and blatant discrimination against white people. Shocker, that didn't cure racism, just rebranded it. The right now runs the risk of overplaying our hands when it comes to DEI, or rather the absolute obsession with it. This became concerning to me in the aftermath of the horrific and tragic Black Hawk and plane collision over the Potomac. We need to know what caused this error to occur and make sure it doesn't happen again. However, the number of folks who immediately started to proclaim it had to be a DEI thing was too much. Eliminating DEI is not about eliminating diversity. It's about prioritizing competency over diversity. It feels like some have twisted that notion and are now just looking to blame anything and everything on diversity. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't help our cause at all. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
When you've been hurt in an accident, you need a law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, Onder Law has been winning for St. Louis. With over $5 billion in negotiated settlements and over $300 million in verdicts, Onder wins. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row, Onder wins. Whether it's settlements, verdicts, or awards, Onder wins. If you've been hurt in a car accident, trucking accident, or hurt on the job, Onder Law will get you the money you deserve. At Onder Law, winning is what we do. So when the stakes are high, Onder wins. Call us today for a free consultation. We don't get paid unless we win for you. Dial 314 or 6189-million. That's 314 or 6189, then all zeros. Or visit us online at onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
The news and talk.
This ceasefire is now formally beginning.
That matters to St. Louis.
25% tariffs on Colombia after it blocked 2 U.S. deportation flights.
This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
To the dark side of the moon.
All right, the Missouri Republican Party announces new leadership. They take the votes over the weekend, and former Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, longest-serving Lieutenant Governor in Missouri's history, new chair of the Republican Party. Vice chair is Jennifer Bukowsky, who joins us right now. So what's ahead for the Republican Party? That's what we're about to talk about. It is 8:35 right now. By the way, we got such a great response to the new News Talk STL exclusive song, Down in Guantanamo.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to replay it.
Absolutely.
In about 15 minutes
We
or
have
so.
to.
All right. Jennifer Bukowsky, vice chair of the Missouri Republican Party, joins us right now. Like I said, Jen, great chat with you. Congratulations on the election with vice chair. Let me ask you about, I think obviously I wasn't at the meeting, The fact that the vote for chair was much closer than I thought it was going to be, I don't know that anybody questions Peter Kinder's conservatism to lead the party. I like Peter. I disagreed with him on a few votes here and there back in the state Senate days, way back about 1 million years ago. But Peter's been a pretty consistent voice for conservatism and good limited government in the state. So when you look at, the vote that was taken, I didn't sense, and tell me if I'm wrong, that it was necessarily a super antagonistic thing, but really more of a debate over which direction is the Missouri Republican Party going to be as far as how conservative, how limited government, what's the messaging going to be? You all are not the legislature, but obviously have an influence on the legislature. So what was sort of the vibe? And if there's a consensus coming out of that meeting that elected Peter and you and some others, what is that moving forward? So what can we expect from the leadership of the Missouri Republican Party in at least the near future?
Thanks, Mike, for the question. I think that you can expect a unity message. We had a bitter, divided primary race in August. We had a lot of fractionalization of our party, and Governor Kehoe has really called for us as Republicans to come together and get some things done this legislative session. And I think that Peter Kinder represents a unity message to the Republican Party to bring everyone together to the table to get some results for the people of Missouri.
Good morning, Jennifer. Gabe Pfeiffer here. One thing that I'm concerned about, particularly about the Republican Party, now that we have sort of a Trump effect big tent situation going on, is we have a lot of people who voted Republican for the first time. They're kind of jumping onto the Republican bandwagon, the MAGA bandwagon, but they're not necessarily conservatives. And I want to make sure that we can take the opportunity of this moment to bring them into the fold. How do you think we can best accomplish that?
Well, I'm excited about bringing 3 groups in particular into the party right now as an investment into our party's future. And that would be the college kids. Mm-hmm. I went to Mizzou and I live in Columbia, and I've never seen college kids so excited to be Republican and vote for a Republican president before. I think we need to take a play out of the Democrats' playbook and get them registered to vote and affiliated with our party. Recently, Missouri passed a law where you can have party affiliation. And so you can go to the Secretary of State's website and in less than 90 seconds, get yourself registered as a Republican affiliated with our party. So I think we need to get the college kids to do that. We need to get the Maha moms, the suburban women that often decide elections. We need to get them affiliated with our party. They could be great volunteers and donors and even candidates in the future. And then we also need to get more urban voters affiliated with our party and welcome them into our party with open arms. Donald Trump won historic numbers of urban votes, particularly with Black men. And I think we need to build upon that momentum here in our state.
And so what's the message? I mean, that's a very wide range of people throughout Missouri that you're talking about. What are the things that you mentioned unity, either connect all of those people, or what are the messaging and what's the platform that you think is going to reach all of those particular subsets of voters that did, and we talked about that earlier today, that did shift towards Republicans in pretty much every demographic across the country. So how do you harness that? And then just so you know, the follow-up is going to be, how do you do that and still maintain that conservative free market, sort of pseudo-libertarian principles that should be driving a Republican Party?
Well, that's a great question. And I think just American greatness and making Missouri great again is a winning message, putting our state first and trying to make the lives of Missourians more prosperous and free is a good message to go with. Cutting down on regulations, getting school choice done, eliminating the state income tax. These are priorities of Governor Kehoe, and they need to be the priorities of our party as well.
Okay, so obviously you guys aren't the legislature. Legislature, does its own thing. But tell me about the relationship that the state party structure led by Peter Kinder and you, that you hope to see with lawmakers. I mean, obviously, ultimately, they're responsible to the voters in their district, but there's a lot of crossover there. I mean, you all set the party platform, that holds them accountable as well. How do you assess that relationship right now? And what would strengthen that as just another way of holding elected officials accountable?
Well, I'm new to leadership of the Missouri Republican Party, so I'm not completely familiar with what the relationship is between the party and the legislators currently. But certainly, I think with Peter Kinder as chair and with me as vice chair, we can help strengthen that relationship because we have relationships with the legislators that we can bring to the table to help the legislators to stay on task and to help the party be relevant and important going forward.
We're visiting with Jennifer Bukowsky, who is now the vice chair of the Missouri Republican Party, and I've known Jen for a long time. I really like the fact that there's somebody in leadership who's got that, like me, a libertarian streak about you, as well, a real small government, free market streak about you as well. So as you're doing your messaging, and obviously a lot of what you're doing, is going to be organizational. It's going to be supporting, a strong party in those parts of the state that maybe, need some sort of help. And you're talking about reaching out to all these groups, the younger voters and urban voters and female voters, which the Democrats, I think, have lost their mind over the fact that they don't have ownership of the female suburban voter as well. So you've got a complicated sort of route to run here to tie all of those things in together. You're now looking, I'm sure, at 2026 already. That's what the party does, is look at the next sets of elections. How do you go about looking for, let's say, recruiting the right kind of candidates? You want somebody who can win, but you also want somebody who's going to help build what the party is there to do. So what are the next steps in building a Republican Party for the 2026 elections, which obviously sets the stage for the 2028 elections?
Well, I think it's important to have candidates in the races, even in blue districts, like blue state rep districts, just to make them spend their money and their resources and not be able to concentrate it on one particular area, but make them use their resources up by having candidates in the different races. That's one thing that we can do. And we can find these people. We have a great state party where, the committee members are on the committee because they were selected by their county committees and their legislative districts by volunteers to the party. So we have a network of Republicans that we can reach out to and communicate with to identify good candidates for these local races.
Okay. And so first
we don't have a U.S. Senate race in 2 years.
Right.
So it's just really the auditor and then the state reps and some state senators.
Yeah. I mean, and that's actually probably a good thing as far as organizationally, because you can kind of, build up the infrastructure in preparation of the 2028 elections. Okay. So then when, just like logistically, when do you all actually meet next? And when do you actually get to work as a team of the new leadership?
We have Lincoln Days, which are going to be in St. Louis. And I encourage everyone listening to come March 7th through 9th.
All right. And of course, people want to connect with the party itself and they can find out more about you. I suspect we'll be chatting with you from time to time, Jennifer. What's the website? What's the way people get in touch?
Well, my handle on X is ESQ on fire, Esquire on fire. And then our website is mogop.org.
Easy enough. All right, Jennifer Bukowsky, Vice Chair. Congratulations on getting elected. Best of luck, and then we'll chat with you again soon.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks, guys.
All right, 314-912-1019. Got some thoughts? Let me know. They really do set a lot of the tone because they set the platform.
Yes.
And that's what I want to see the Missouri Republican Party make sure that they keep a principled platform. The people who are elected, I think, absolutely are the kind of people who will do that. And I understand, if I'd known there was going to be such a close vote between Peter Kinder and Bill Eigel, I might have either tuned in on a live stream or gone to it myself. I really think that's interesting. But I don't know that a pro-Eigel vote was necessarily an anti-Kinder vote.
Right.
It's just, this is the new wave of what the conservatism should be. So you had a couple good choices there.
Yep.
And then, of course, earlier today on this program, Bill Eigel announcing that he's running for county executive of St. Charles County. And that conversation is going to be available on our podcast here in just a couple of hours right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Should we do an encore performance?
Yes, please.
All right. Our world premiere was a little bit ago of the new song Down in Guantanamo, exclusive to News Talk STL. I think we're going to do an encore.
All your friends.
Here.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL.
If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman mind, kryptonite.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Is your Medicare coverage not working out quite like you expected? You're not alone. Hi, I'm Debbie Westhoff with Westhoff Agency. We specialize in helping people understand their Medicare options and find the right coverage they need. If something's not quite right with your current plan, let's talk about it. I am here to help you understand your choices and find solutions that work better for you. Call 636-500-1843 or visit us at westoffagency.com. Choose Westhoff Agency because Medicare should work for you, not against you.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Did Donald Trump and Republicans make everything great again over the weekend? We'll discuss with Senator Jim Talon at 425. At 525, Red State Headlines with Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Have you seen her? So bad and pretty, moving with a style.
I mean, sure, Van Halen's fine, but they're not the News Talk STL in-house band.
That's true. Who still needs a name because we
don't have a name. Now, remember, because a lot of people are sending in some band names, based on the song about Down in Guantanamo.
Right.
But we're going to use them for other stuff. I mean, so far I'm seeing people like, we just love what happened.
Yeah.
And this is not one of those. Here's one of the secrets behind radio.
Okay.
Is that we subscribe to these services, and that's where I get like a lot of my sound bites. And, and some of them I pull directly off the other shows. Not all generate them myself. But we have services we subscribe to make it nice and efficient. And sometimes we will pull things from these services that give you the comedic stuff.
Yeah.
The other parody songs I play.
We've heard some of those things.
And I'll keep using them.
And they're fun.
They're funny. Mm-hmm. This was not one of those.
Right.
This was a song generated in-house at News Talk STL.
It's an in-house creation.
Yes.
From concept to execution.
That's right. All done right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should do that on occasion a little bit more.
Yeah, and not just about immigration. Trump could say something hilarious.
Yes.
Or somebody has a hilarious response to something, and we all think it's the greatest thing ever. And an idea will hit us like lightning.
That's right.
And we'll say we need a parody song. We'll go to this band to do it. So we need a band. It's got to be, that name can't just be about this song.
Right. But the funny part was this wasn't even a parody song. This was an original song.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, the song called Down in Guantanamo about the left just kind of losing their minds over Donald Trump saying, I'm going to take the worst of the worst and take 30,000 violent illegal alien criminals and hold them in Guantanamo. Matter of fact, Tom Homan, the border czar, was on Fox News over the weekend, and he was asked about this, and he's basically saying, yeah, this just kind of makes sense. Here's what he had to say.
We got a facility there. We're going to expand it a lot and hold the worst of the worst over there. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And The beds are much cheaper over there. So look, President Trump's about efficiency. He's about getting the bad guys out.
So if you don't want to end up in Guantanamo, then don't break our laws and come to the country illegally, and don't commit crimes after you have come to the country illegally.
Right.
That's pretty simple, I would think.
Pretty simple.
And therefore that sparked the artistic fire that led to the brand new song from News Talk STL. Let's go and play it again, Stel. What do you say?
Yeah,
Shall we
let's
do it?
do it.
Let's
Yep.
do it. This is Down in Guantanamo.
Arrested down in Texas, caught sneaking through the fences. Border Patrol detected, now you're gonna get collected. No papers, no visas, caught smuggling some cheese. You're taking a vacation down to legal damnation. Oh, Guantanamo, where Trump says you gotta go. No sneaking past the Rio, straight to a cell you go. Down to Guantanamo, won't see no Mexico. No amnesty, just wait and see. You'll be stuck indefinitely. Oh no, Guantanamo, no mojitos, just mosquitoes. No more free tacos, you're in lockup. Whoa, down in Guantanamo. They tried to claim asylum, but Trump said, nah, deny him. No lawyers gonna try him. Straight to the bay we fly him. No beach, no margaritas, just orange suits and bleakness. Hope you like the sunshine, cause you'll be here a long time. Oh, Guantanamo, where Trump says you gotta go. No sneaking past the Rio, straight to a cell you go. Down to Guantanamo, won't see no Mexico. No amnesty, just wait and see. You'll be stuck indefinitely. Oh no, Guantanamo, no mojitos, just mosquitoes. No more free tacos, you're in lockup. Whoa, down in Guantanamo. They tried to claim asylum, but Trump said, nah, deny him. No lawyers gonna try him. Straight to the bay we fly him. No beach, no margaritas, just orange suits and bleakness. Hope you like the sunshine, cause you'll be here a long time. Oh, Guantanamo, where Trump says you gotta go. No sneaking past the Rio, straight to a cell you go. Down to Guantanamo, won't see no Mexico. No amnesty, just wait and see. You'll be stuck indefinitely. Oh no, Guantanamo, no mojitos, just mosquitoes. No more free tacos, you're in lockup. Whoa, down in Guantanamo.
I think the White House would approve.
They would definitely would approve. I think I can see Trump dancing to this song at one of his rallies. Actually, I wonder if we could get him to play it.
We should send it.
We should send it to somebody. We've got to have a connection.
Okay, this is going up on the social media here at some point very soon. Send it out.
Share it around.
Share it around.
Make the suggestion. Hey, at Real Donald Trump, and say, hey, have this at your next rally.
Maybe we can get Bob Onder.
That's right.
Sneak it in there somewhere.
That's right. We can put it in there. So be sure to.
Now, Homan wouldn't dance, but he might nod his head very slightly at this.
Maybe.
Very slightly.
It would be kind of a Paul Kurtman dance.
Yes.
Which isn't really a dance.
It's not a dance
because he's very Baptist.
He doesn't dance.
You don't dance.
No.
You don't do that.
No.
But
that is an awesome song. It really is a good song.
Yeah.
I love it so
I
much.
love some of the names that are being
oh yeah, some of the names.
Yeah, let's see here.
Fergie and the Frog.
Fergie and the Frog. I don't know about that one. Mikey and the News Band.
Okay.
News Cruise Blues Band. That's
okay.
not bad.
All right.
Steel Arch.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's actually, I like that.
That's
Corporeal Being.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
There were a couple others if you scroll up there as well, because we got a couple minutes before Vic Porcelli takes over here. So,
and then Larry Connors has made a declaration that this is a fantastic song, and he's going to be playing it tonight on his show.
I hope that this ends up on the throughout the day.
Yes,
because the only place you're going to hear it is News Talk STL.
This is
right
where
now.
it's at.
And then let's get this thing up on social media and send it out there. It's just too much fun.
It's way too much fun. And I think part of the thing about being a conservative is that we have fun. Have you noticed how joyless and horrible and just terrible everything on the left is? They got to screech about everything. They have to remember the attempt at calling the Harris campaign a joyful campaign.
Yeah, that's right.
While they scream and cry about everything.
Did you see what the White House has done to some of the DEI government websites that have been taken down?
No.
I'm not making this is true. Instead of just 404 error or whatever, it says this page has been unburdened by what has been.
No, they didn't.
They've done that. That actually happened.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Brilliant.
There's a bit of fun behind all of this. I mean,
it's borderline trolling.
It's a little trollish, but the thing is, it's like, we're moving forward. We're going to change this country for the better, and we're going to be happy about doing it.
That's right.
The happy warrior mindset is one I think Reagan actually had. It's the idea, as opposed to saying, "Oh my gosh, everything's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day," and just living in sort of the doldrums of that. You're living in the sort of the depression of what the left has kind of done to this country. Right. We're instead looking at a hopeful future, and while we dismantle the edifice of the craziness that they built around the country, we should be happy about what we're doing.
Exactly. All right, Vic Porcelli coming your way here in about 6 minutes. Got an information update with all the news right before that. Down in Guantanamo, going to be up on the social media pages here before too long. Be sure to check that out and share it and send it out. Let's share the fun.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
They cover the important stories. News, analysis, opinion.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted. I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
First words out of his mouth, the golden age of America has now begun.
With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction.